Jack. Get ready, get jivin'.
Oh, hi there. You're probably wondering what I'm doing right now. I'm winding my clock. So you see, it's one of those watches that only works when you wear it. And unfortunately, anytime you take it off or don't wear it for a day, I got to wind this sucker all the way 24 hours. 4:36. There we go. I'll put my watch on so I can say, welcome, ladies and gentlemen and genders all across the spectrum here in the United States and across the world, to JIVIN with Jack, Season 2, Episode 10, here on the Poindexter Lounge as part of the Poindexter Pantheon. I'm really trying to make this a thing because it looks like a pentagon. Ooh, not a pentagram. But, folks, you know, I woke up at 6:30 this morning. I started working on today's show around 8. And every time I decide to work on a show and get it out, get all my topics ready, get my notes ready, get everything set, something happens. And then I have a thumbnail already made, I have the description already made, and everyone's like, oh, I guess he's not talking about the Joker clip. And yes, anytime anything like that happens, like if you see the show is ready to go and something breaking happens, chances are we are going to talk about that. So we are definitely talking about the Joker clip. Pros, cons, and why I think it was a good idea to cut it out. Because I'll get into that. Plus, I want to talk about Halo. So here's the thing. I'm a PlayStation guy. PlayStation 1, 2, 3, 4, and I got the 5 right there. And I got the 4 underneath, and I got the 3 downstairs. And I got the 2 downstairs. I am a PlayStation guy. I really haven't ever played Halo. I know Master Chief is a thing, and he never takes off his mask. He's kind of like Judge Dredd. You don't take off your mask. That being said, so I don't know much about the lore. I know there's the Covenant and the Guardians, or whatever they called, Spartans. Yeah, that's all I know. I kind of like this pilot episode. However, I am willing to concede that because I do not know Halo, that might not have been a good show. Just like people who watch Star Trek Picard for the first time, who have never seen Star Trek, think that this is what Star Trek is. And I'm like, no, it's not what Star Trek is. Or children whose very first Star Wars movie is The Force Awakens. And they're like, wow, so this is Star Wars. And I'm like, no. So a little later, Austin will be joining us. Or if any of you are Halo fans, tell me what you thought. Because as someone who is not in the franchise, I enjoyed it for what it's worth. I'm not saying it's the greatest show in the world or the best show in the world. I enjoyed it. But beyond that, I have my notes here because we have a lot to talk about. I do want to talk about something that's been kind of making the rounds. If you haven't heard about this, you're going to want to hear it. It is a rumor, but it is being backed up by a lot of secondhand sources. And that is that Bruce Willis is suffering from onset dementia. Now, it's one of those rumors I wouldn't like to talk about because it's a rumor. But unfortunately, there's a lot of things to back it up. And it's a shame because he's relatively young. I mean, he's older than us, but like 67. He's not that old, but we're going to go through the evidence for that and why I think we should be talking about it. Plus, I didn't get to Britney Spears the other day, but we'll see if we can get to it. Conor McGregor has been arrested. I guess, kind of expected. It's like saying a rapper gets arrested. Of course he did. Miley Cyrus's plane got struck by lightning. And if we have time, I will talk about Kenobi. Oh, last but not least, I got to talk about this. The director of Moon Knight said some stuff about Wonder Woman 1984. And then Caden just told me that he said some stuff about Black Panther. Or Black Adam, sorry. Because I have stuff to say about Black Panther. Because you can't criticize Egyptology in Wonder Woman and then kind of ignore that Black Panther stole from Egyptology. They culturally appropriated that. But let me first say hi to everyone in the comments. Let me see. Oh, my God. Holy crap. Caden is with me. I'll bring him in a second. Okay, so Zeno Q, you liked it. I hope Jack doesn't get a jive turkey to jive with. Just kidding, Jack. Oh, you know what? That should be a segment. Just kidding, Jack. The Joker deleted scene in the Batman. Nice. Their M113, the Secret Service, so cool. The Joker scene was 6. It's a place for a nerd. A cool place at the Pantheon. Or total information for us nerds. That's what I'm here. Anchorman is here. I didn't see you on Tuesday. Monkey Jeebus, Jared's Martha, Scotland Yard, and all that dopish. Stella, hello. Stellar, by the way. When I fixed my watch, got her groove back at 4:35 p.m. What a beautiful beach. Yes, the beach is what is beautiful. Anthony Beltre. You know what? The last few weeks, I don't know. I thought I was done with the Snyderverse. Like, not done because I want to be done, but it's given up hope. I think it's back now. Like, now when I see, like, my friends like Nicotina or Dawson type in Restore the Snyderverse, I'm like, yes. Raising Cane's have me double toast and fries instead of the slaw. My Joker's Jack Nicholson. Mine is still Heath, although I grew up with Jack. But yeah, guys, I'm trying to see if there's anyone I haven't said hi to. Ibrahim Khan, hello. Anthony Beltrazan, Mary Wilcox, nice to see you. Cortana is bad. Okay, so I have a question about that because I have Cortana on I have Windows. Did they name Cortana in Windows Microsoft after Cortana from Halo? Again, PlayStation guy. But now I'm thinking of getting an Xbox. I do have the PlayStation, but I think that there's enough games on the Xbox that I will buy the new one. For one thing, you can actually buy it. I hope it's not true, but yeah, we're going to go through all that. But, until Austin Lean joins me, Austin Line. You know his name is actually Austin Line. Lien, Line. True story, but I call him Austin Lean 316. But let me bring in, when you're in need, you call Caden Reed. Come on in, Caden. My producer.
Aloha.
Released the Keaton Morbius cut. I saw that on Twitter.
Like, so funny enough is like someone thought I was being like serious, like 100% serious, and they're like, no more, release these cuts and stuff, and it's like, and I was just like, it's just like funny. Like, I'm serious, but I'm also making like a joke, and like, and it's just funny. Like, some people get the joke. Like, I was just like.
Yeah. You know what? I'm crazy. I'm like, you know what? Remember when Snyder said the original assembly cut was 5 hours of Justice League? I'm like, restore the assembly cut. Give me that 5 hour cut.
Right. Like, the
I want to
crazy
see a cut of Man of Steel, BVS, and the assembly cut is one movie. Like, just 10 hours.
Just 10 hours.
You know what? That line is so classic, though, when he's like, you can call me Joker. As you can see, I'm a lot happier. And that music kicks in. There's some cool stuff in that Tim Burton film that they haven't replicated. I like the scores in subsequent Batman movies, but that music that was also the animated series, but effective.
I just love that whole the Joker museum sequence. That whole sequence is just amazing. And like you said, no one has replicated that yet. Like, like someone has to, because that's like, it's one of those underrated Joker moments. Like, that like no one really talks about. It's great. It's really great.
It's just really great. All right, so you know what? We're going to get to Halo. That was going to be the number one thing. Now it's the number two. Because now the new thing that happened is this scene that has been released by Matt Reeves from the Batman, in which is kind of like a Hannibal Lecter moment where Batman goes to visit the Joker in Arkham and asks him for like input as to who this person might be. Everyone likes it a lot. Everyone's blown away with it. I liked it, but I wasn't blown away with it. Because I was telling you this before the show. It seems like everyone always says, the best Batman and Joker scene was in the Michael Keaton film. Good. Here comes the Dark Knight. The best Batman Joker scene is in the Dark Knight. Okay, good. Then the Snyder Cut. The nightmare sequence with Joker and Batman is the best scene with Batman and Joker ever. Okay, good. Now it's this one. After people have seen it for like 1 hour. What did you think about it? Because I actually come kind of glad that it wasn't in the movie. I kind of like, because then the movie would have been like, dude, is that the Joker? It would have taken everyone's attention away.
I think
then they're like, is the Joker going to come back?
Well, I think that was the reason why Matt Reeves did say that. Like, the reason why he took it out is because it felt like it was taken away from the story. Like, even though it was still inputting to the story in some parts, it still was taken away from the focus of who the person they're talking about, which is the Riddler. It would have been focused on who is this Barry Keoghan character. Like who is he? And we know that like this is a relationship that we don't know who he is yet. Like he is become the Joker. We don't know who he is yet. He's like some Arkham inmate that clearly Batman's put in the Arkham a year ago because he says this is our anniversary. This is the gift you're gonna give me. Like he's like, are you serious? Like he's basically, are you serious? This is the gift you give me. These new newspaper, like you wouldn't give me newspaper clippings of like our like of my capture or whatever, but you give me this type of thing. Mm-hmm. So it's clearly like it's setting up that chemistry between the two characters. But
you know what? I would have been happy for that being a post-credit. I mean, it wouldn't work as a post-credit.
I mean, it wouldn't work because
he's already
we see him in that scene with Riddler. But I think honestly, it like, even though like we still know that happens. We still know that it happens, and it's still added, and it's like so. Maybe when it comes to HBO Max, like a month after it comes to HBO Max, they have like an alternate cut, an alternate cut where it has that scene in there.
Release the Matt Reeves cut.
Yes, release it. But I honestly think it's a good scene.
I had trouble understanding him. I'm not gonna lie. I still picked up most of what he was saying, but my one issue is, and I said this before the show started, I'm kind of blaming Heath Ledger for this. So Nicholson just did the Nicholson voice. Hamill kind of did the Cesar Romero, like, can't be too careful with all those weirdos walking up, like that kind of thing. It almost sounds British.
Yeah.
And then Heath Ledger, he kind of brought the nasally thing in. And then Cameron Monaghan kind of did that a little bit. But Cameron Monaghan did his own thing.
Yeah, he kind
Jared Leto kind of sound like that, like, I'm your best friend. With this hunka, like he started doing the nasally thing from down here, like you need to take some nasal spray. Also, and then like this guy, I have no idea who he is, and I've heard his name before, but like he's still kind of doing kind of voice like this, and I'm like, someone's got to come up with a new Joker voice. Someone has got to come up with a new Joker voice. Stop doing the Heath Ledger thing. Or just do a Heath Ledger Joker. I'd be cool for that if someone were to ever just like do the Heath Ledger Joker again. Obviously, would not be Heath Ledger, but
because like like you're saying, Jack Nicholson, he honestly because Jack Napier was just some guy dumped in acid, who took it.
By the way, Mark Hamill's Joker is also Jack Napier.
Yeah.
You will see multiple times when they open his file, it says Jack Napier because the animated series is a loose sequel
to
the Michael Keaton movie. That is why they use the same music.
Yep.
And then
Shirley Walker, people forget that so there's quite a lot of those shows. Like majority of the animated shows that came out during that time were loose sequels of the movie that like the that MTV Spider-Man movie. Spider-Man series was a loose sequel to Spider-Man 2002. The Superman animated series is a loose sequel to all the Reeves movies.
Real quick, Andrew, just to address this, there are many times the Joker died in the animated series. He died in Mask of the Phantasm. He died in the Batman Superman movie.
The whole like Batman Beyond Return of the Joker thing was like a big deal. Return of the Joker and the Batman Beyond.
You guys have seen me as the Joker, right?
I don't think
like the Heath Ledger Joker when the movie came out.
Oh, right. I have.
Yeah, I've shown that. And first of all, back then I worked at Abercrombie, so I was really lean. So I actually wore a woman's large. So this is what I did. I dressed up as Heath Ledger's Joker. I had a wig that I bought. I had the prosthetic scars, the makeup, the gloves. I would go up to chicks and like, here's my card.
Oh my god.
And and you should never do this. But times are different. There was one girl named Ashley. She was dressed as Poison Ivy, and so we've been talking the whole night. And she's like, "So how do I contact you?" I'm like, "Let's take my card," and I just put it right in her cleavage. Good news. We've been friends since then. We have been friends since then, but now I'm like, holy shit, I can't believe I did that. But here's the thing: we had rapport all night. It's not like I went to a strange girl and just did that to her.
Yeah, right.
But anyway, so I did this at 4 parties, 5 parties. At each party, at some point, a song would play, and I would start stripping, and everyone's like, "Oh, he's drunk." And what I had underneath was the nurse's outfit. Remember when he blows up the hospital?
Yeah.
I had the nurse's outfit underneath, and let's just say I had to put some extra stuff on because women's skirts are really short, and you could see all the way up to Caracas. So I had to add an extra layer of skirt. But yeah, that was my favorite. I never beat that Halloween costume because I really got into it. I had a retractable toy knife, and I'd go up to like everyone and be like, you want to know how I got these scars? And I was doing the voice and everything.
Right.
Oh, I loved it. But I would like to do the Jack Nicholson Joker one day. Like I got to grow my hair out, slick it back, and
right.
kind of do the traditional clown. But let me see what everyone else is saying. I think everyone's talking to each other.
What's your favorite design of the Joker, live action wise?
I'm a traditionalist, so I like the Cesar Romero Jack Nicholson Joker, kind of, which is just traditional clown.
Yeah. Same.
I'm not gonna lie, the Heath Ledger Joker is like the closest to grittiest I want to get. And by the way, when I say Jack Nicholson Caesar, I throw Mark Hamill into that because he's still a clown.
Yeah.
Like a clown.
Right.
And then and that includes, I guess, the Arkham games, the way the Joker's done in that traditional Joker.
Right.
Heath's Joker was more the intelligent Joker, the smart Joker, the one who's not crazy. Like there's something else going on with him. He's very intelligent.
Well, because also you have, even though like there's so many like twists and turns with that character that you don't know if he's telling the truth or not.
Yeah.
What I liked about his,
I did not do that. It was and the look she gave me when I did that, it was kind of like he like looked at me like, did he just do that? Like wow. But like these bedroom eyes, almost like, well, here's my card, And she didn't even know what I looked like. She was shocked when she saw what I finally looked like because I was really like, boom. So anyway, so yeah, yeah, that's good. After that, I guess let me see. And I'm done. Oh, am I back? Did I glitch?
Yeah, you glitched.
I'd really like to see more of Jared's Joker under Zach's direction because it was a little more of a softer performance than like the David Ayer film or whatever that film we got. I would like to see that relationship because I like that back and forth between the two of them because it seemed like they were picking up a conversation that they had just continued. You know what I mean? And it was I was like, well, yeah, this is the first time they've talked to each other. But it felt like they were continuing a conversation. Like it's like the beginning of the Killing Joke. Batman comes to talk to the Joker. I came to talk. And you're like, oh, yeah, these two, they've been talking for a while.
Yeah.
People
are like, oh, why wasn't Jared Leto and James Gunn's The Suicide Squad? And like all this, like, why? People forget that Jared Leto and James Gunn have a feud.
Really?
Yeah, James Gunn called out Jared Leto on some creepy stuff.
Yeah, I don't know if James should be doing that.
No, it was like
I mean, James has done some creepy stuff too. It was humor.
Yeah,
he went to a party. It was a humor. It was humor. I thought it was funny, but it was like 20 years ago.
What he called him out on was different than what he did.
I heard Jared Leto's a bit of an ass. Like he was pulling pranks and stuff like that.
I heard he's an asshole too.
Yeah. And by the way, there's a misnomer that Heath Ledger, when he played Joker, stayed in character. Nope. That's all what you call like these lies that people believe. When the camera stopped rolling, he was Heath Ledger. Everyone who worked with him said, no, he wasn't like crazy, like I gotta get out of this, like going nuts or anything. No. When the scene was over, he went back to being Heath Ledger. Go back into a scene, he became the Joker. He did another movie after that they didn't finish. So there's this whole kind of myth out there that he was always in character and he was a professional actor. He did a scene over, I'm back to being Heath Ledger. I'm gonna go skateboarding down Chicago. Did
you know that picture is photoshopped?
Of him oh really?
Yeah, it's photoshopped.
I didn't know that. He does know how to skateboard though. Oh well, whatever.
Yeah, he does. It's the Photoshop part is Batman.
Yeah.
Batman. He did.
Oh my god, I forgot about Joaquin's Joker for a second. I completely forgot about Joaquin's.
I love Joaquin's Phoenix's Joker and the fact that it was a different take. It was more of course it takes place in the 80s.
Yeah. 70s, I think, or was it 80s? Yeah, it was 80s, yeah.
Yeah, it was the like I think it was like 82. It was like 1982.
And New York in the 80s looked kind of like New York today, like crime infested hellhole.
I mean, until 1985 is when New York changed, but then it went back for like another 5 years, and it flip flops every
And
year.
the guy
So
who cleaned it up, believe it or not, he's a nutbag now. But Rudy
yeah.
Giuliani was actually a really good mayor for a period of time. Then he started melting on screen. You ever see that?
Like, so you remember that whole story of him being on Masked Singer, right?
Yeah, yeah. And people walked off. Ken
Yeah,
Jeong walked off.
Robin Thicke and Ken Jeong walked off set.
I gotta say this. So I always say this. Like, I'm a liberal. That's my tribe. We have to stop being wimps about this stuff. We have to kind of like have, liberals just have nuts. We would like curse out Nixon to his face. Like,
I wonder if he was sweating under that suit and if he was melting, if he has black.
Yeah. So, this is something I'm concerned about because I'm a little bit older than you guys. I'm starting to get a couple of white hairs. And I'm not going to age gracefully. I'm not going to be one of those people, well, at age 40, I'm going to have gray hair. I'm like, no, I'm dyeing my hair, man. I'm going to be like, get my black hair back, And I'm going to be here and jiving with Jack, and these lights I have 3 lights on me, and all of a sudden, like, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Gender's always like black ooze. I look like the penguin.
Oh, dear God. It's like Jack is having a Rudy Giuliani moment.
Yeah. The penguin at the end of Batman Returns, he's talking like the black stuff is coming out of his mouth. He'll be like, "This, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Gender's all across. Season 3 of Jiving with Jack. And we have 5,000 people watching. We're gonna get there." And all of a sudden, like, I just start melting, and then it becomes a meme. The YouTuber started melting.
It's like Jack has Giuliani moment from 2019, or was that 2020?
That was 2020. That was here in Philly.
Oh wow,
that was here in Philly. When Giuliani had that moment. Yeah. Speaking of this is politics, I'm not getting. But Trump is suing Hillary today. We're not going to get to that. But I will say this, Andrew. Here's what I say about Heath Ledger's interpretation of the Joker. It is not the traditional classic Batman Joker, but in spirit, it might be the most interesting Joker. It might be the closest acted Joker. So not the look, but this idea that the Joker, like, no one ever thought of Joker as an anarchist. And then you're like, oh yeah, he is an anarchist. He's not doing this for any really political reason. He's not doing this because he wants to make money. He just does it because he wants to see society burn.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that the Joker is this close to finding out who Batman is. He's like, no. That's going to ruin all the fun. I've always theorized that in The Dark Knight, the Joker figured out who Batman was. Because there are a couple clues in the things he says. But he didn't care about Bruce Wayne. His dance was with the Batman. He didn't care about Bruce Wayne or the Playboy. And he's not going to go after Bruce Wayne. He's going to go after the Batman. He wants them to have fun. He's like, you're just too much fun. And you and I are going to do this dance for years. So I like that. That's the first movie that kind of played up the fact that the Joker secretly loves Batman, at least in the movies. And again, there's no clear interpretation.
The nightmare scene. He basically said, but I would say
the scars came from I think early interpretations of the Joker where he gave people a scar. He himself didn't have the scar, but I kind of like that. Again, I like that interpretation of the character.
I think
Ben Affleck's Batman is my favorite Batman, even though he is not the closest interpretation of because he kills. Batman does not kill. I know a lot of you are going to point to like that one comic in 1938, but like new 39, but that's his big thing. He does not kill. Jack fell into the acid. That's from The Killing Joke.
Right.
The whole him falling. I think that is traditional canon that he fell into acid.
Also, there's different interpretations of the whole vat of acid drop. There's the Red Hood gang origin, which is a father who was poor and needed money, and he enlisted into the Red Hood gang, and they were doing a robbery, and Batman and the GCPD cracked down on that case, and then Batman it's basically like how that scene in Batman 89 is basically Batman accidentally pulls a pole, and then Jack falls into
and then The Killing Joke, he's still wearing the Red Hood, isn't he? But like he's doing a job. He's his wife and baby in the same day. I kind of like that aspect in The Dark Knight where he tells multiple stories and maybe none of them are true. But
I think the dad one's true.
you think the dad one's true? Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, and that's the beauty of it, you know.
Yeah.
Then the 3 Jokers. Apparently, the 3 Jokers. I'm like, no.
Yeah. The 3 Joker ones is weird.
The only way that would work on film is if they did 3 Jokers and all 3 of them were played by the same actor, and they leave doubt in your mind, like, are they 3 Jokers or are they the same guy? Ooh, like that's how I like to have fun with that kind of writing. Yeah. Then when they start messing with the look of the character too much, that's when you know they're out of ideas. And I've seen that happen a lot with the Joker. They don't know how to do better Joker stuff because they all want to be Alan Moore. So they're like, what if we change the way he looks? You know, what if we, you know, make him look more crazy or whatever? And that's what they did with the, I felt with the Jared Leto Joker. They didn't know where to take the Joker. So they're like, oh, well, what if he's more like a pimp? You know, he's got like tattoos, like a gangster, you know. He's thrown out like, you know, and I was like,
yeah,
oh,
I like that.
Did you add anything of substance to the character? But
I don't like that take at all.
Yeah. But then in the Snyder Cut, like all those tattoos are gone. And he's just like, I'm your best friend. You know, the only one line is the reach around line, which I know people have objected to. It kind of felt awkward. Like, you know, why did he say that? Like, who's going to give you a reach around? And again, there is meaning in that because for those of you who don't know what a reach around is, look it up. Not now. But like the idea is that you and me are in a physical relationship as well, kind of implying that there's intimacy. Like if I'm not the one who's screwing you and then also giving you, you know, what are you going to do with your life? You can't form any relationship with anyone except for me. There's a lot more going on with that line. It's not just a throwaway line.
No,
that movie's brilliant, by the way.
But yeah, it's I do wonder how they're going to take this character. Obviously, we all know that now the Arkham series that they have is going to be probably based off of Barry Keoghan's character and how he ended up in Arkham. And
now, how do you feel about this? Do you feel people feel that maybe we shouldn't see a Joker versus Batman movie, but the Joker's role in the second or third film with Matt Reeves should be similar to how we saw how it was in this movie? Like maybe he's a secondary character. Maybe Batman goes to him for help, and there's like that kind of like Hannibal Lecter kind of quality. Like Hannibal Lecter's not the main villain. Buffalo Bill is the main villain, but Lecter.
Right. I think it's gonna be like this because now we know because as Matt Reeves said that there's gonna be a catalyst character. Like this is before the movie came out. That there's gonna be a catalyst thing happen to Edward. That
by the way, Mary, I love your name. It's like a character out of a literary book, isn't it?
Mary Wilcox.
Mary Wilcox, 19th century book about Mary Wilcox from Worcestershire, England.
Oh my god!
The story of Mary Wilcox when she discovers her father might be the Ripper, and Mary Wilcox runs off to Scotland Yard, but no one believes her. Mary Wilcox has to stop Jack the Ripper, a.k.a. her father. So doesn't that sound like a very British name? I'm complimenting you, by the way, Mary. I'm not making fun of you. But I like that. It's like that's the type of name you wish you could give a character, and then you're like, oh, I guess I'll name him. So we got Caden Reed, Jack Reed. You know, like that's me. I'm terrible with character names, but that's Mary.
And there he goes.
It's a nice name. Anthony Beltrix. He reminds me of the Atlanta Braves. Both Jokers from 3. Ooh. Oh, there we go.
Well, I was
women are starting to watch this show. You know, like we used to only have Kasuka back in the day. Now we got Rhea. We got Erin. Where's Erin? No Erin today. Erin Pritchard. I'm gonna hire her as my bodyguard. She's a black belt, man. I know you're not, but it does sound sounds very English. Wilcox. Like that's Alfred's girlfriend back from World War II. I don't want the Joker in the second film. Let him be the third, and he be the supporting character in the second. You know what? I said this the other day, and where I said, you know what? I'd be okay if Matt Reeves didn't do the Joker. I'd be like okay with exploring, you know, other characters, you know, like Calendar Man, like Mad Hatter, not characters that are popular, but you could see them doing something interesting. Yeah, I know, I got you. You could see them doing something interesting with the characters. And minor question. Yeah. This is the beautiful thing about having Asian parents. I could be in here with a girl. You know, you ever seen American Pie? Caden, did I lose you? Have you guys ever seen American Pie? My dad
yes,
said it.
I have.
And like his dad catches him and a girl. And then he starts to sit down and give him like advice, like, well, actually, now, son, what you want? He's like, Dad, please, no, hold on. Then the mom walks in, this little sister walks in. Like, that's my family. Like, they don't care that I'm live. I'm like talking to the camera. They're like, we need to get gyros. We're gonna get gyros for dinner, and you have to pay. It's your turn. I'm like, okay, I can't do that now. Like, they want me to stop the show. Like, everyone stop. Asian parents are like this. I have stopped the show to answer my parents.
Yes, he has. He has.
Yeah. That's why like Asian kids are pretty strong, man. People talk about anxiety and panic attacks. Have Asian parents. It's like steroids for your brain. Yeah, Mr. Freeze. Mr. Freeze. That'd be something interesting. I see Matt Reeves, even like a Killer Croc done well. It doesn't have to be like a big hulking machine, but and again, I'm not because I still have hope that we will still see Jared. By the way, Jared's Joker. Technically in Birds of Prey. Technically in Birds of Prey. I was in American Pie. No, I was not the pie. You know what? American Pie, if you guys have ever seen that movie, my issue with that movie is it was funny when I was a kid and it came out. As you know, who kid never been with a girl. We're like, oh, I guess that's what it's really like. You know, you could tell someone came up with that gag of the kid in the pie. And they're like, let's make a movie around that idea. You know what I mean? Like, they were like, and then we'll call it American Pie. That's how movies are made, folks. Some producers are like, oh, it's a great idea. The kid humping the pie. They write a script around it, around that one scene.
That one scene.
And in hindsight, I'm like, what a stupid movie. That being said, American Pie 2 is really good. I actually like the second one. Oh, Rhea. Emotional damage. Yeah, man. Yeah. Well, you've had a conversation with my dad. I haven't told that story on this channel, but you know the Justin Hines story, right? Everyone knows. If you guys want to hear the Justin Hines story, if you missed it on the last channel, you guys want to hear the story about Justin Hines and my dad. It is a hilarious story. Caden, you know that story, right?
So which one?
About Justin calling my house and talking to my dad.
Yeah.
It is a hilarious story, but I don't think Enosh's fans have heard that story. But I want a Clayface too. Yeah, a Clayface would be, again, he's not my favorite villain, but what's cool, look what Marvel did with characters that were not that popular. Iron Man was not a household name, but with good writing and good casting, they can do it. So I think what Matt Reeves can do is take characters like Mad Hatter, take characters like the Calendar Man, take characters like Clayface, like Killer Croc. You know, some of these, or even Pamela Isley. We haven't gotten a good movie idea.
Or every project into this universe is going to get more fantastical every single time. Like they're going to basically warm people up to the idea of a live action Clayface, you know, because, you know, I think, you know, right now, like if you were to do Batman 2 Clayface, I think nobody would want that because like you didn't warm up to the idea of a fantastical, like crazy fantastical element as Clayface.
But I think he would do it differently. I think he would do something.
Or if he's going to do it more like a
shapeshifter, like maybe he doesn't turn into clay, but maybe he can change his appearance again and again.
Like the very first Clayface was this actor who was basically changed his makeup face and basically used clay makeup into
and screw
he can
himself
pull
up.
a man back. I think like the thing is people
or
like
even a good Scarecrow.
I would like a Scarecrow because honestly,
he's already Scarecrow.
Maybe.
Or I don't need another origin movie for a
villain.
villain.
To me, I think the origin of these villains, like I was saying, that with Edward Nashton, the catalyst event for him to become the Riddler that we know in this universe, and I mean in the comics and now, is being cellmates with the Joker, who's already a maniac, like senile guy. So you're gonna put him next to him. He's gonna go crazy, and obviously we've seen the scene that was that he's riddle me this, you only need one, and it's like you don't have a few, but you only need one. That's a friend, type of thing. And then you know how it feels to be the man on top, and now to be the man on the bottom, or you become the clown type of thing. He's obviously so clearly Joker. Well, not Joker. Whatever his name is going to be. I would say John Doe for now. John Doe.
Justin, what if they do the multiverse in the Flash and they bring in Arnold's Mr. Freeze in the Flash movie? Yeah, they're two Batmans.
know what?
You pull me from the
Imagine,
multiverse.
imagine. Oh, okay.
Could you imagine if they did that? You know how
Ima-
freaking hilarious it would be if you saw Ben Affleck, Michael Keaton, and then Arnold shows up. Yeah, I'm a good guy now. Yeah, and he's got the cigar and everything. Yeah, I'm a good guy, super action movie hero. And they
Yeah.
scientific terms. You want to take the cryogenics, and then you want to put it through the quantum tunnel. You know, just for fun. You know what? In fact, they're doing reshoots for the Flash. I need Arnold Schwarzenegger's Mr. Freeze to show up and just for one scene, just deliver one monologue. Maybe he recites, you know, some Shakespeare or something. You know, friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your eyes. You know. Just, I mean, come on, that'd be so perfect. Just for one scene. Just for one scene. Whatever that movie's going to be, just have him come back, you know. Bring back Adam West, but not as Batman, as the mayor of Quahog from Family Guy. Just do that. But yeah, Mr. Freeze would be kind of a cool interpretation. If we ever have a day where we're just jossing, I'm going to tell you guys how I built my own Batman movie, my own Batman Year One movie in my own head, how I would do it, and how I would do my own Superman movie. Like if we were kind of rebooting, I'm sure all of you have done that in your own head, have come up with your own Batman or Superman movie. Like, oh, this is how I would do it, and this is what I would do, and all that stuff. So hold on one second. Caden, can you take over for 1 second? I got to take this call.
Yeah, I'm going to take over the show, guys. This is now my show. I am going to... So, yeah, like I was saying is before, Matt Reeves said that each movie will be like kind of the origin story for the villain, and the fact that there's going to be a catalyst event or character for them to become who they are. And I think that catalyst character for Riddler is Joker being his cellmate. So I wonder who will be the catalyst event for Victor Freeze if he's in Batman 2, or whoever the Batman 2 villain will be. I'm sure it'll be Victor Freeze, to be honest. I think.
Do you think they should change their names? Because remember Edward Nygma for the longest time? Well, his name was Edward Nygma. Now it's Edward Nashton. Because when you try to make it realistic, it kind of comes off as silly. Like, remember that scene in Spider-Man 2? Like, a guy named Otto Octavius sends up with 8 arms and legs. What are the odds? Like, it's kind of funny. Like, his name is Victor Freeze.
Mr. Freeze, and because it's Mr. Freeze, like the regular way to spell it, Fries, like how he spells Victor Freeze, and then it turns in when he gets the cryogenic and all the ice stuff, he becomes Mr. Freeze, like Freeze.
Well, let me tell you something, Watcher. Let me tell you something. By the way, that's Iron Man's eyes, or is that Batman's eyes?
I never know.
Well, Watcher will tell us. Look, the whole Falcon and Winter Soldier show came about because fans thought that their scene in the airport was funny. And Disney was like, good idea, so we're going to get this trending now. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Mr. Freeze cameo of The Flash. And played off for laughs. Like he's going through the multiverse like, hello, Flash, it's me. You know, like just, and that's it.
First, before we get that done, we have to release the Keaton Morbius cut.
Yeah. Well, has he been cut from that movie?
It's rumored that he has only. The only thing that he is in is the post-credit scene, and no one has seen the cut footage for that. Apparently,
I gotta say this, Rhea, are you watching? I hope you're watching. Let me know if you're watching. It finally hit me. You look like a friend of mine named Michelle, because it was her birthday like a week ago, and I was like, "That's who Rhea reminds me of." She reminds me of my friend Michelle. Very similar features. Continue, Caden. I've been sitting on that for weeks, and I just remembered it.
Oh, he says it's the Moon Knight eyes.
Oh, Moon Knight, yeah. That's a great thing. Adam West. I'm going to say it right now. I hate Adam West's Batman. There, I said it. I'm looking right at you. And I have a whole rant about why I hate the Adam West Batman. Hey, Tarun. T.W. McKay. Were you here earlier? I felt like, I don't know. But I always thank you here. Arnold doing the Macbeth soliloquy. Yeah. To be or not to be. Oh, you ever see Last Action Hero? Not to be.
Someone said
mom a show.
Oh, my God.
Have they seen your mom?
No, they haven't, but it's an inside joke that Enosh started.
No. Has he seen your mom?
I don't know.
Well, you posted a photo one time, and I was just like, Mrs. Reed is a very handsome woman.
Handsome?
Well, I don't want to. What do you want me to say? You know, not to be rude, but very good-looking lady, though. Very good-looking woman. I was like, "Damn, that's Caden's mom." I thought that was his sister or something like that. I'm like, "Oh, that's my mom," and I'm like the tall guy behind her. I'm like, "Yeah, Caden's a giant, by the way. He's like 6'10" or something."
I'm not 6'10".
Yes. How tall are you?
6'2".
Yeah, 6'2", and you're like, "Yeah, that's tall." Like, I don't know why you sound so young. And then the only photo of you I've seen is the one where you're like a little kid and you got the little afro. Then like I saw a picture of you like it's your whole family, and then like just like you're like towering over everyone else, and like that's me in the back. I'm like, oh my god, don't pick a fight with Caden, guys, because he is big and he will whoop your. So, that's the Moon Knight eyes. It's the Watcher's eyes. It's Black Panther's eyes. Did you see? Eyes. Did any of you see Halo? Because I want to talk about Halo.
I watched Halo.
You love Halo?
I watched it. I thought it was interesting. The pilot was interesting
too. But then again, I've never seen. I've
never anything really from like Halo.
Yeah, I never played. I know it was popular for a while when I was in college, but then Modern Warfare came out and that just overshot Halo. Like that became the thing. Like that's when me and Justin kind of became friends around that era. But if you guys want to talk, we can leave the Halo conversation for another day because I know Austin is a Xbox fan, so he plays Halo. But I guess I don't know what happened to him. I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna send my mom to like sort Austin out. She'll like make him wake up at 5 a.m. Like, wake up, Austin! Austin, wake up!
Oh my god!
Wake him up, like throw cold water on him. Oh, look at that! Riddler's flood destroying the OG facility, keeping Nora alive, and it knocks over chemical. Ooh, that'd be a nice. See that this is creativity right there.
Yeah,
that the flood is what. I like that. I like that. Anthony Beltre says Moon Knight's director is going to... Yeah, we're going to talk about that because he's talking about two different types of people.
You want to talk about that right now?
Yeah, you know what? Let's talk about that now. Let's take a break. We'll take a quick break, folks. Let's talk about the Moon Knight, Wonder Woman, Black Adam stuff. And we're not going to hit the transition button. We'll be back right after a word from our sponsor.
It's finally here. New voices, new faces. Welcome to the Pantheon.
I don't mean to toot my own horns, but I have gotten really good at editing. I like that one a lot.
Badass.
It is badass. So something else happened with Black Adam, but let's start with Wonder Woman 1984. The director of Moonlight, upcoming series. In my pitch, there was a big part of Egypt, how inauthentically it has been portrayed throughout Hollywood's history. Diab told SFX magazine, "It's always exotic. We call it Orientalism. It dehumanizes us. We are always naked. We are always sexy. We were always bad. We were always over the top." So I need to know specifically who he's talking about. Is he talking about ancient Egyptians, which is a whole other race of people? Or is he talking about Egyptians today? Because
he's talking about Egyptians today.
Yeah, okay. Because when he says they look sexy and they're always naked, I thought he's talking about ancient Egyptians. Because if you watch like The Mummy or like the old biblical films, they're always like brown skin, but they're like glistening, like they put baby oil on and they're like look like they're ready for an orgy, just the way they look. Like, you ever seen The Mummy, like Rachel Weisz and that other Imhotep's girlfriend or whatever? Whoo, my lord! I was like, this movie's PG-13, but those are ancient Egyptians. So, for a little history lesson, folks, we're actually not quite sure what the ancient Egyptians look like. Some DNA tests have showed them a mix of Mediterranean and people of the Levant, which is like Persians and Arabs mixed thing. We actually don't know, because what happens around the 4th century BC is Alexander the Great comes in, knocks off the Egyptian pharaohs, and puts the Ptolemy family in. They're Greek Macedonian, and then they rule for about 400 years, and then the Roman Empire takes over. Octavius, aka Augustus, knocks her out, and now Egypt becomes part of the Roman Empire. The age of the pharaohs is over. In the 7th century, between the 600s and the 700s, the Arabs from the Middle East invade North Africa. This is why when you go to North Africa, you go to Morocco, Tunisia, Egypt, they look like Arabs because they are Arabs. So for the last 1,400 years or so, North Africa above the Sahara, they look like me, more or less. I'm not Arabic. I'm technically Punjabi, which means we're a different race. We're not in the Middle East, but they look more like this. So when he said, it seemed to me he was complaining about tropes about like ancient Egyptians. But I'm like, dude, that's not you. That's like me complaining about how Americans are portrayed and then talking about Native Americans. You're like, every time they show Americans, we're always riding horses. We got paint on our things. We got like a little hat on, and be like, dude, you're talking about Native Americans. So I know that a lot of modern Egyptians like people to think that they're the Egyptians, but like the ancient Egyptians, but that was a different race of people. Just like Americans prior to the 16th century were Native Americans and not blacks, whites, whatever the hell I am,
Well, the thing is when I read his art, like looking at like what he said about,
there it is. I knew I had it. It just didn't. There it is.
Yeah, so he was saying that like that it was not Egypt and Wonder Woman 84 was not like it was just seemed like it was in the middle of nowhere type of place, and looking at Egypt in 1980s, it was popping.
Shit, he knows more than I do.
It was.
I can't be the smartest guy in the room. He knows more than I do. Sorry. He actually studied this stuff.
So, I looked up Egypt 1980, and it seemed like it was more than just not in the middle of nowhere. Although yes, they were in a war, they still had like it looked like some like downtown New York.
Yeah, parts of it do. Oh yeah, absolutely. But you know what? That's
and
I see what he's saying.
I see what he's saying, like in the fact like that. Yes, like they should have.
All right, here's my question: what's wrong with looking sexy? Where did he say that? Oh, we are always sexy and we're always bad. You know what's sexy and bad? The girl in my background. Mm-hmm. What's wrong with Middle Easterns looking sexy? I'm actually for that. I would say more often than not, people of the Middle East are kind of portrayed the opposite, like hairy. Women are all covered up, asexual. Like I would say it's the opposite. But then I think that's where he's talking about the ancient Egyptians. Like they really didn't dress. They just wore differently. But
and I disagree with him on the fact with the whole like going with ancient Egyptians and stuff, and with the fact that he's saying that The Rock is the wrong actor to play Teth Adam if he's Egyptian. And the thing about Teth Adam is that he is from ancient Egypt, and ancient Egypt has different fair skin.
The Rock might look more like ancient Egypt than modern Egyptians do.
Yes, that's like that. The Rock is more ancient Egyptian than your modern Egyptian today.
Yeah,
because
now they had the same argument with Gal Gadot, like, oh, she's not Egyptian, but like she's not ancient Egyptian either.
No.
Well, what was she? She's
with Cleopatra. She wasn't even Egyptian.
She was Greek Macedonian.
Yeah,
and they believe ancient Egyptians were a mix of the Mediterranean, which is where you get your Greeks, your Italians and all that, mixed with the Middle East. So she's perfect because she is Israeli. I'm like, dude, it's perfect. When it comes to people of color, it doesn't like. Look, when I was a kid and the internet didn't exist, or it existed, it wasn't as that great. We didn't know what The Rock was. We didn't know what his real name was. I literally thought he was Middle Eastern. I'm like, is he Middle Eastern or is he Spanish? We didn't know. We didn't know. We've never seen a wrestler like him, a person of color. So I was like, I think he might be Middle Eastern, Dad. Like now, of course, with the internet and books, he's Samoan. I'm like, what the hell is a Samoan? It's like, oh, these islands. I'm like, okay.
But it's still cool to see, like,
yes,
because like the thing about is that Samoans and Pacific Islanders, they are the closest to the fair skin of like the ancient Middle East.
Yeah.
Because that's where they came from.
And if I make a point, what's his director's name?
Mahmoud Diab.
Okay.
Mohammed
Black Panther stole their gods from the ancient Egyptians. Bossk and Sekhmet are Egyptian gods, ancient Egyptian gods.
Well, the thing about Bast is also the funny thing about Bast is, like you said, she is an ancient Egyptian goddess.
Yeah.
And funny thing is about that is but even though like people forget also is that the I looked at the map again where Wakanda is. It's really close to Egypt. So maybe there is some influence from Egyptian like culture into Wakanda. So maybe that's where they get boss from.
Mhm.
And
See, this is good right here. What he's just saying right here, Brahim. This is another thing. Like, we're not monolithic. You go to Jordan. You go to parts of Jordan. Let me get rid of this photo. You go to parts of Jordan, and you will see people whiter than anyone you'll know. They look like they're Caucasian. There's a really nice diner in Glenside, right outside of Philly. It's owned by Lebanese,
mhm,
and you would think they're white. Now, they're not
right,
Caucasian European white. They just
yeah,
have light skinned. You go to Israel, you'll see darker skinned Jews. You go to Iran, you'll see Jewish people who are darker than I am, and then you'll see some light skinned. But of course, the stereotypes are like, oh, brown, curly hair. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but like, bearded and all that stuff. And it's like, well, no, that's not what we look like. Or that all the women are wearing burqas, and this is all you see. That every time you show the news, they show the Middle East, they show the ladies in the beekeeper suits, like, oh, we're in Cairo, downtown Cairo, and there's like a woman there, like with this, like this, like they wear stuff. I've been to Pakistan. Are they going to dress like booty shorts? No. That sucks that they can't do that. They can't do what she's doing in my background right now. But, it's not that bad. Now, are there people who want it to be that bad? Yes, they are. They exist there too, unfortunately. There's a great Vice documentary about Pakistani female dancers. It's on YouTube. Look it up. It's pretty interesting because they're really kind of pushing a sexual revolution there, and they are literally targeted. Like, they talk about how their friends have been shot like while they were dancing on stage, and like mullahs are gonna shoot them in the head. I'm like, oh shit, over here we throw dollar bills at them.
right. I do wonder how, because we know that Moon Knight is the avatar for Khonshu.
Okay. Now, Moon Knight, is the person, the character, supposed to be Egyptian?
No, he is Mark Spector. He is a Jewish New York guy.
Okay. You know what? I'm fine with that, because have you ever seen that movie? What was the movie with where Oscar Isaac builds a hot robot or something? Ex Machina. He looks Middle Eastern. The first time I saw him, I didn't realize it was Oscar Isaac. I'm like, he looks like an American of Middle Eastern descent. Sometimes people, they just pass for each other. I'm cool with it. You know what? Like, who are you going to find to play Black Adam that might be more culturally appropriate, but not have the box office numbers as The Rock? The Rock could play a Middle Easterner. Yeah, totally. I could be fine with that.
I mean, the thing is, and there's like a big, whole outcry about Oscar Isaac playing Moon Knight, because Moon Knight, Mark Spector is Jewish. Well, okay. The thing is, people forget. Okay, so he is Jewish, but when he is he's Jewish in the fact that his mother and father are Jewish, so he's raised Jewish.
So they call that ethnically Jewish, but he's not
ethnically Jewish.
He's not practicing. Not that matters to me. I don't think in
the comics
he's Flash always been Jewish in the comics, because in the Snyder Cut he says he's a handsome-looking Jewish boy. I'm like, you know what? You never hear that. You never hear about superheroes being Jewish.
I think in the comics he's Christian.
Yeah, I think he's Christian too, but I'm okay with that. Allen, Allen, can be a Jewish name or an American Jewish name.
I'm not
fine with that. And believe it or not, that's kind of a risque thing. Like, why does Clark Kent have black hair? Because the two people who created him were Jewish, and they said, okay, he
is Jewish.
Jewish immigrant pretending to be a WASP, or who becomes a WASP, a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant. Dark black hair, rich black hair, like the soil. That's what you find in the Middle East. Hey, Droga.
But but
again, like, if he goes to synagogue, I would love to see stuff like that. They only get away with that with Daredevil. Like, you see Daredevil go to church.
Yeah,
I would love to see a Jewish superhero go to a synagogue or read from the Torah. Please give me some more of that. I like that. I'm not Jewish, but I would like to see that. They're going to deal with Miss Marvel. I'm glad that they're showing that I don't know if she's religious, but she comes from a religious family. She goes to the mosque and prays. I'm like, we do this stuff, Hollywood. A lot of people go to church. A lot of people go to synagogue. A lot of people go to mosque.
So the reason why Mark Spector,
Enoch is a pastor, and none of you bastards watch his live streams. I watch him.
The thing about Mark Spector is that the reason why he has DID it's because he had an anti-Semitic attack happen to him when he was 17 years old.
Ah, okay.
And what's caused him to create the personality of I think the first personality he has is it's some other personality that doesn't really pop up in the comics anymore. I'm forgetting what that personality is named. But then you have now Jake Lockley and Stephen Grant, which Jake Lockley is a taxi driver in New York, and then Stephen Grant is a rich philanthropist playboy. Basically play on Bruce Wayne, basically.
Okay, you guys ever seen It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
Yes, I watched some.
There's one character, Charlie. He doesn't know how to read, so he goes on a date, and they're trying to make him look posher than he is.
Oh my god!
And they have a script for him, like, I'm a philanthropist. I help children, people in Africa, dyslexics. So he's trying to impress this girl, but he doesn't know how to read. So just the way you flub philanthropist, he's like, I am a full-on rapist, children, Africans, things like that. And the other girl's just like shocked. He's trying to say philanthropist, Ibrahim, I wanted to ask you, are you from Pakistan or are you of Pakistani descent? Just let me know in the comments. I'm kind of curious. Ibrahim Khan, that is a Muslim name, but I was kind of curious if you're ethnically from Pakistan. Wonder Woman is no longer part of the Invisibles. The new leader is Mowgli. By Mowgli, are we talking about the Jungle Boy?
Yeah.
Jungle Book? I'm asking you, Cade. I have no idea.
I don't know what this is, but I'm guessing yes. But so basically, Mark Spector is Moon Knight, and then Steve and Jack Lockley is Mr. Knight, and Mr. Knight is basically just a more professional Moon Knight who uses batons. He's like kind of like and then Moon Knight is just the murks people, but the thing is, Stephen Grant is also a mercenary, and he was also part of MI6, which is he was part of like the military and stuff.
Dude, Ibrahim is gonna be so hot when he grows up. If he's half Iranian, half Pakistani. So my parents are from Pakistan, Ibrahim. My dad's from Lahore, my mom's from Sialkot. So, and I was born here. So,
where are you?
They call us ABCD, American. Well, I guess you're not American born, but like, the word for like Indian Pakistanis is Desi. It's like sort of like how Italians say paisano. They call us born in the West ABCD. Well, at least in America, American born confused Desi because we're Americanized, but we also have like the habits of like the old country. But I've been to Pakistan 4 times when I was a kid for Christmas, ironically, of all the holidays. But that's pretty cool. You're in London. Are you still in London? Let me know. I got family in London. But anyway, sorry. It's like, hey, people, I'm glad that we're international. We got Erin in Australia. She's not here today. We got our friend from the UK who's banned from this channel. But listen, you guys got me hyped for Moon Knight. I just hope that I'm not familiar with the character, but I hope they do it right, and as for this controversy with the whole...
Okay, so I'll say this, is that this Moon Knight, the people are expecting this as a Moon Knight origin, whatever. It's not. Yeah. It's basically... It's not. It's us dropping in the middle of his life. And like way after his origin and stuff.
Okay.
So this is like...
We'll have flashbacks, maybe?
Yeah, so it's basically like Memento. It's gonna be like Memento, where it's like because Jake...
So Moon Knight loses his memory every 5 minutes.
So every personality doesn't remember what so the one personality that he is in the show, which is, I think is Steven, and Steven, I think it's Steven. Yeah, Stephen Grant does not remember who Mark is, who Moon Knight is, or Mr. Knight, or who Jake is. Okay. And so basically, as we see in the trailers, is that when he picks up the phone, it's like, Mark, I missed you. I'm like, why'd you call me Mark? And then we see also in another trailer we see him. And what's really cool is that the way they are showing that the internal struggle in his brain with each personality is through mirrors.
Okay.
And Steven is talking to Mark in the mirror. And so I can't wait for midnight to come. It comes out next Wednesday, so it's gonna be really cool to see. And it's
it's next week already. Okay, all right.
And
so okay. So you know what? I want to have a broader discussion about Halo.
Yeah,
but let's talk about it briefly because I have not played the game, and I want to hear your guys. If you guys saw it, we'll try to keep it spoiler free. I mean, it's not like anything happens. You're like, oh my god, Bruce Wayne, like this Batman type of moments. But let's talk about it briefly, and then we'll talk about Bruce Willis. So let's. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So as I said earlier, I have never played Halo. I think I played 10 minutes in a college dorm once. Halo was big, and then Modern Warfare came out, and that just changed the world. That changed gaming. So I've not played the game. I'm very vaguely familiar with the lore of Halo. That being said, I watched the show this morning before I started working on the show. On today's show, I'm like, let me watch it. Yeah, so we got a lot of UK people. We got Ibrahim, we got Tarun, we got a couple of people. But did anyone watch the Halo series? Because again, I am not familiar with it, but from what little I saw, the one episode I saw, I thought it was a very, and I'm saying this as an outsider, a very good pilot. And I'm speaking like this because I'm trying to find this.
Well, I'll say this, that as a person who also on the outside but still knows some sort of the stuff for Halo, I say it was cool. It was cool. It's an interesting pilot. It's an interesting to see where they go with this, but it's funny.
We won't spoil anything.
Yeah. Is that so? The showrunner. This pilot. So they have hold on. Okay, never mind. So they had two showrunners for this series, this first season. Switch. Like they had one showrunner, and they quit, and they had one showrunner come back. And then now they're gonna have another showrunner for season 2. So it's gonna be completely different.
So I guess what struck me about it is I didn't know much about it. I saw I didn't think, I don't think I even watched the trailers for it. I just did not care. But what I did like about it was how shockingly violent it was. Not that it makes it a good show, but I thought this was gonna be like a PG-13 or we're gonna tame this down a little bit. Like the opening sequence, I'm not gonna say too much about it. You have a bunch of hippies in the forest, and pew, 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 and you see explosions and blood and limbs being lost. I'm like, are you showing me a show that actually shows how war is scary? Wow. That first 10 minutes, I was hooked. I was like, all right, 10, 15 minutes without getting into most of it,
Right.
I was like, I'm in. I like where this is. And again, I don't play Halo. I like that. I'm not saying it's like the best show ever. I would say it's a good pilot. Like I know what the story is. I know where the story is kind of going without like actually knowing where it's going. I'm
interested to see where they take this.
Yeah.
And to see, because it very much, like someone told me, it's like, oh, it's Winter Soldier Mandalorian. And this episode gave me that. Like it very much gave me Mandalorian. And
I have questions, but I guess I'll save those for
Austin. Austin will know more.
But I'm curious about the Cortana thing because I have Cortana on my computer, and I was like, wait, is Cortana? Oh, yeah, that's both Microsoft. That's actually kind of cool.
I can tell you about the Cortana thing because I know I asked my friend about this, and the person who saw it, and I was like, what's like the whole deal with Cortana and like the Cortana Project? So basically in the game is that hold on, let me actually read it off of what they said.
Yeah. While you're looking that up, what I liked about it is that it very quickly establishes who the villains are, and they are very villainous.
Okay, so
you're not like, oh, I wonder, go ahead.
Basically you have to sacrifice a human brain to create this the smart AI. And so Halsey,
that much I knew.
So Halsey, the person who created the Spartans and Master Chief, has to make an AI to keep Master Chief in check. And she does that by cloning herself, then uses that brain to make Cortana, basically.
Okay, all right,
So-
cool. But like, I was wondering, like, but here's what I think I'll say about this. I do know, and I'm not spoiling anything from the show because it's in the trailers and everyone knows it's coming, is that he removes his helmet. And the thing with Master Chief is, and this is the same issue with the Sylvester Stallone Dredd movie, Judge Dredd does not remove his helmet. We do not know what he looks like. It's part of his mystique. There's a scene where he does remove his helmet, and the implication is that he's going to take his helmet off and keep his helmet off. They kind of did the same thing with Boba Fett, because Boba Fett always had his helmet on, but then in the TV show, you know, you see Tamora Johnson just walking around the street waving at everyone. It's me, Boba Fett, without the helmet on. This is what I look like. This is my face. And you're like, dude, he's supposed to have the helmet on. But, yeah, I can see why people were pissed about that. But whatever the story, the direction the story's going in, I kind of like it. I don't know much about the USNC or UNCS, the University of North Carolina.
Yeah, it's
stuff about an artifact and stuff like that. I've recognized maybe some of that from like trailers and stuff. But whatever it is, who is so Anthony didn't like it. Anthony didn't like it. James liked it. Justin says he's going to see it this weekend. I recommend if you have Paramount Plus. I have Paramount Plus because I'm a Star Trek fan. If you have Paramount Plus, check it out. If you don't have Paramount Plus, I wouldn't say pay a month for it just to watch one show. Bow down to the almighty Cornholio. I love that actor of the Leprechaun in American Gods.
Pablo Schreiber.
What's his name?
Pablo Schreiber. He's Liev Schreiber's brother. Sabretooth, Ray Donovan.
Oh, I thought he meant the Leprechaun, like the Leprechaun movies, the guy who played the Ewok. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
Like he was a leprechaun. Like, was he in American Gods? I stopped watching American Gods. I just kind of forgot to go back to that show. One show I did actively stop watching because it got a little too much for me was Preacher. Just because I wasn't like, this show should be canceled or anything. I was like, okay, this is going a little too far for me. It's a certain sequence with our Lord and Savior with a bunch of women. I'm like, oh, okay, I got to stop this. I can't watch this. I was like, no. But I know it's good. I just hate that I can't watch it. Mary, how's it going? Yes, Mary's here. Mary Wilcox. Mary, I'm going to write you a poem.
Oh my god.
Mary, quite contrary. How do the flowers grow? But like something like that. So I'm going to write it myself. Hold on real quick. Hey, Kat. I'm live on air, but if you want to order 3 gyros, just take my wallet.
Hi, everyone.
Huh?
Hi, for more.
You can order it from the Arab place here or the one on 5th Street. Just tell them to put a little extra meat in it, you know.
Do they have gyros?
Yeah, the one right there. It's called Khan's. Yeah, one of my guys' name is Khan. Hey, maybe he owns it.
Is he one of our paisanos?
He's a paisano. Yeah, he's a Pakistani, but
Yeah.
born in London. I don't know where my wallet is. I think my bag is downstairs or it's behind this door. This is the story of my life, guys. Tamora Johnson. What the hell is his name? Tamora Morrison.
I'm like,
Person. Oh.
Oh, that's just my background. Tamora Johnson, Tamora Morrison, whatever his name is. Yo, you know what still bugs me that Boba Fett is so old? He is not supposed to be that old. He's at best 40, but like, you know, I get it. A lot of people thought that it should have been the kid from Attack of the Clones, that he should have played the older Boba Fett.
Daniel Logan?
Yeah.
He's not. The thing about Daniel Logan, even though he voices Boba Fett.
Now I know who he means. You're right. He was the Irish leprechaun on American Gods. Okay,
Yeah.
Now I know who you're talking about. Yeah, the guy plays Master Chief. Yeah, the Halo show came out today, and
Oh, the video game?
yeah, so like the video game fans don't like it. Those of us who don't know jack about the video games. You know what this is similar to, Caden? Remember when that
Mortal Kombat.
Masters of the Universe thing came out and everyone's mad? But like I never watched T-Man, so I didn't care. You're like, oh, they replaced her with this hot butch woman with abs. I'm like,
Well,
I'm cool with that. And everyone's like, but they didn't, you know.
Well, Enosh
if you ever come to Philly, you know what? If you're near Detroit, we might know a good couple of Pakistani places, like friends of my dad's who served in the military. They have places in New York, LA, and, you know, good, authentic Pakistani cuisine. And we'll be like, you know, he's one of our friends. Take care of him. Yeah. So, Ibrahim, the place we're going to order from is called Khan's. And every time we go there, I say, "Come!"
You can go pick it up.
We knew what you meant, Jack. It's cool. But yeah. But no, I can't go more.
Hurry up.
But
Hurry up.
but like I enjoyed it. But here's what's interesting. I watched. Do you guys ever watch Angry Joe, the podcast YouTuber? So he did his review, and he said that he got a special press greeting, and he says like the first episode, okay, is fine, but then there's like a huge drop in quality and stuff like that.
I heard it's okay throughout.
Gyros.
So up real quick.
But like, you know what? When did we get those press passes? You know, I want a press pass. Although I did get to see Snyder Cut 5 days before it came out because Ty swindled the guy. He was like, "Yeah, we're supposed to get him, and we didn't get him. We got him." Said Seth Rogen. You know, speaking of Seth Rogen, I saw that first episode of Pam and Tommy, and the guy that Seth Rogen is playing, Seth Rogen is really like, if you actually look up the guy he's playing, that dude was a porn star, not a porn star. He did porn. It was like a good ripped guy, and I'm like, so you cast yourself, Seth, in that role.
Well, the thing
It'd be like if I say, I'm making a movie about Batman. Who should play Bane? Me. Although technically I am taller than Tom Hardy, so I guess I could.
Did you watch all of Pam and Tommy?
No, I'm on episode one. I have a family here, and there's a lot of so. All of a sudden, my folks always walk in on the wrong moment. Like, oh, what are you watching? You know, oh my lord, you know. Who is Jack talking with? John Lennon? No, that's my sister. She doesn't care. She doesn't care.
Oh yeah,
we're ordering a halal gyros. So like these are Middle Eastern gyros, which are kind of like Greek gyros, but a little more spice. It's like JIVIN with Jack. Sure, Poindexter Pantheon has a lot of flavors, but JIVIN with Jack is a little bit picante.
Did you know that Rand is still saying that he didn't steal the sex tape till this day?
Yeah, he still says it. Yeah. But you know, if that story is true about how he was being treated, I mean, that doesn't justify theft. But here's the thing. We worship celebrities, but this is how they're like. They look down on people who are like construction workers or even cops. Like, you'll see a lot of celebrities bad-mouthing police, but when they go to like the Grammys, they'll have like a full police escort, you know. Oh, look who it actually is. It's Integrity 101. Welcome back, Integrity. Integrity, I'm back on the hype train. I have no idea if it's going to happen or not, but I'm closer to it being. I'm more positive towards it happening, just because people like Clay Staub keep tweeting stuff. I'm like, oh, he knows something, and also I have faith in the power of prayer. Two things I pray for, entertainment-wise: the restoral of the Snyderverse and Twin Peaks season 4. Those two things. I'm like, God, make it happen. I played the games, didn't read the books, but I hear like there's a lot of cool world building in it. But you know what I think they should have done in Halo with the Master Chief scene? He should have removed his helmet, but we, the audience, don't see what he looks like. Now, obviously, we know who the actor is. But what if he took it off and you see it from the back, and she sees his face and he puts it back on?
No, the thing is, when he took it off, I thought we were just going to see the back side of his head for the whole, like the rest of the 6 minutes that was there. And I was like, okay, that's fine. And for some reason, I felt like they should have like added some like prosthetics to his face because it looked like there was gonna be some scar on his face or something. Yeah, they should. To be honest, I think they should have added a scar to Master Chief's face. You
know what they should have done? I don't know about the I understand he's a white guy, but they should have made him a black guy. That would have been like, yeah, screw you, ha! The people, the comic book fan or the video game fans would have been mad. Oh
no, you know who would be mad? So,
Justin Hines, I would really recommend rewatching season 1 before you get into season 2 again, because that show is a piece of work. It's truly. I mean, I don't tell everyone to watch Twin Peaks, but because I tried to show, because we wanted to have Owen Gleiberman on to talk about David Lynch films, so I told Austin to watch Blue Velvet. Austin was like halfway through it. It's like, nope. So his helmet isn't sacred. Yeah. So like, but like in the video games, he probably takes it off, but you don't see it. Like, it's just sort of like same thing with Judge Dredd. Like, if you ever see the Dredd movie that what's his name did, Carl Urban, you see at the beginning, you see the back of the head, and then you see him put the helmet on, and that's the thing in the comics. You never see his face without the helmet. Correction, season 3. Oh my God, she's here. Dude, I am like so happy she's here because I was like, we're missing something, We're missing just that extra, thing, and there she is. I'm so happy to see you, Erin Pritchard. By the way, I'm thinking of hiring you as my bodyguard. Once I become rich and famous on the Poindexter Pantheon, I will hire Erin Pritchard. And when I become rich, anyone who like makes fun of me, let's say Joss says something about me, and he's like in, I don't know, Hackensack, New Jersey, I will send Erin to go beat you up. Have you ever seen Jane Silent Bob Strike Back, where they find everyone who made fun of him on the internet? And that's what I'm going to do.
Oh my God.
So you guys thought it was the masterpiece? Oh, okay, I thought it was good. Can I just say something? I loved the Batman, but I don't think I put it as a masterpiece.
I wouldn't call it that yet. Just yet.
I have to see it again, but I still don't. It might be the best Batman movie, but I don't know what it was. I still rank it below Dark Knight, Batman Begins, and the Michael Keaton film, the first one, not Batman Returns. Batman Returns, I grew up watching, but I have issues with that movie. We're not even sure, man. I think we just want him to continue his story. The Dark Side film and the third film. I still think that there's a way they can still connect it all, but that's what we want. We don't want him to become the Kevin Feige. We just want him to finish telling that story. And I was saying on Tuesday's show, I'd like him to do, but I'm not going to get back into the yeah, I got to watch it again. I got to watch it with subtitles. Do you think we'll ever get a classic clown again, like ever in the movies? Like we've had a couple of gritty Jokers recently, but do you think we'll ever go back to like a Mark Hamill type Jack Nicholson Joker, with the suit and the tie and the...
I really do hope so. And I think, honestly, to me, I think I love Ledger and everything, but I think that's what started the whole...
Yeah. Because even in the New 52, they were like, ooh, we should do something different with the Joker. And I'm like, no, you don't. That was Chris Nolan's version of the Joker. That's for that movie.
It's there's a lot of things that I blame Nolan for. And,
but I don't blame him. Like, he did something different. He gave his own interpretation of the character.
I don't blame him like in the bad way for that. But I do think that he and his like whole, like him coming into Warner Bros. DC.
By WC, do you mean Water Closet or World Cup? It's John Lennon. John Lennon, the king of hippies, as Eric Cartman once called him.
Oh my God.
Jack doesn't like hippies. Dirty people. Go shower. See, here's that thing. I don't know what it was. I'm still trying to figure out what is it about it that didn't tickle my fanny. I liked it a lot. Don't get me wrong. And I'm trying to figure out why am I not like, I'm wondering if there's something wrong with me, because I'm definitely going to buy the movie in 4K, but I'm trying to see what was it about it that I'm going to sound so biased because I said it before. I don't think I bought Robert Pattinson. I'm not saying he did a bad job. I just didn't. I don't know how to put it. And mind you, I've seen the Twilight movies. I don't like them, but I don't hate them either. They are what they are. And he's a good actor in that too. I don't know what it was. I felt like there was no diversity in his Batman and his Bruce Wayne. Like he just played the same character, kind of like Clooney did. Like George Clooney played George Clooney as Bruce Wayne and as Batman. I felt like he was playing the same character. There was no, and I get that's what. But see, here's the thing. That's what Matt Reeves was going for. But like Austin was saying, like, oh, he's not the playboy yet, implying that Bruce Wayne became a playboy. I'm reading this great comic called Night. It's sort of like a Batman Begins origin. And like from what I read, Bruce Wayne was always kind of smooth, even like dark, sexy. Like he didn't become a playboy. Like he was always kind of like he's a good-looking man and he knew how to use charm. What I'm saying,
like we talked about Gotham, like
Gotham, yeah.
There's a very important scene in one of the seasons when he's going to the club and there's a group of kids that he doesn't like that go to that Gotham High and who think they're all aristocrats and they're cool kids and stuff trying to get to the club and and then Bruce Wayne buys the club and then says they can't come into the club. Like that's a smooth move from a playboy. It's like, I have all this money, I can buy this club, and then but again, obviously, also
I'm going to say blasphemy now. I think maybe Christian Bale did a better job because Christian Bale was the first actor to do the 3 Batman, where like he's Batman, he's Bruce Wayne publicly, and then there's the Bruce Wayne he plays privately. You know what I mean? Like there's a Bruce Wayne in front of Alfred, the Bruce Wayne in front of Lucius, and then there's a Bruce Wayne in front of other people. Like, I got 3 women with me. I burned down my house because I was drunk. And then there's Batman.
I think Keaton did that better, to be honest.
Keaton
with
did do it
our
better.
first introduction to Bruce Wayne in the movie is not like he acts like he doesn't know who Bruce Wayne is, type of thing. He also like
so that was something interesting. So in that version, I would say there's interesting parallels between Pattinson's Bruce Wayne Batman and Michael Keaton's Batman. Is that in both versions, Bruce Wayne isn't quite a celebrity. Like he's at this party and no one knows who he is. Like he's a rich guy. There's kind of like a Howard Hughes aspect to it. Like, he's just rich recluse. He throws this big party and no one knows who he is. He's just a random guy walking around.
Like he's this mysterious figure who's just like, and but what I do like is that even though like people don't know who Bruce Wayne is in the Keaton like Burton universe and stuff, people know who Bruce Wayne is in the fact that people know what he looks like and stuff. But still, like he acts so closeted and inside of himself.
That's interesting. I wish I could tell you my Batman Year One story one day. One of these days, we're gonna do a JIVIN with Jack. We're gonna have no topics. A nice bottle of brandy here, and I'm gonna tell you my Batman story, how I would do it. But yeah, no, I guess maybe that's what it was. I don't know. I have to rewatch it again. Zoe Kravitz was just so good.
Yeah.
But again, I'm not gonna say she's better than Michelle Pfeiffer. I'm like 2 different interpretations of the character.
Two like completely different. Like Michelle Pfeiffer was like she was.
He played crazy. More femme fatale. Does that make sense? Like Michelle Pfeiffer was more the femme fatale.
More of the crazy femme fatale.
Crazy femme fatale.
While Zoe Kravitz was the more serious femme fatale.
Okay, I got a question for you, and this is not me trying to be pervert. Was she a sex worker in this? Because I know in Batman Year One, it's implied that Selena Kyle is a sex worker, at least in that interpretation.
I think she's just like.
That's how I felt.
I think she is, but yeah, it's very confusing on the fact that because like.
Hey, Brave, that's why I'm saying I think it's my problem. I don't think it's the movie's problem. It's my problem. I just have to watch it again.
Like she said that her mother raised her there.
I wouldn't say that. I would say I don't even know who the best Bruce Wayne is.
Honestly, I think.
And no, please don't say the guy from the animated series. We saw him on live action. What's his name? Kevin Conroy.
Yeah, I think the best Bruce Wayne is honestly Keaton. To be honest.
Really? Okay, Keaton.
Yeah. Keaton, then Affleck, then Bale.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because I was to say.
Because the thing
Affleck played moody when he needed to. Like the scenes of Affleck.
Because Affleck's Bruce Wayne was a damaged Bruce Wayne.
Yeah. And then but like when he hooks up with Selena Kyle, it's because they both are damaged. In Batman Returns.
Yeah.
Like they're both kind of a little bit off their kilter. And I think that's an interpretation of Batman. I don't think Batman is necessarily off his kilter because he can't be. If he is that focused, he can't be crazy. Like some people say, Batman's crazy. I'm like, no, he can't be. A man that intelligent and so precise in everything he does, man or woman, can't be off his kilter. A guy who can outsmart Superman and Wonder Woman and Green Lantern, who are way more powerful than he, can't be off kilter. He's just incredibly focused, I would say. I don't know if I liked his. Yeah, I guess but Keaton's. I guess. Well, Keaton didn't do this. So Keaton, like Batman at the party, is different, right? Like he's like, I'm Bruce Wayne. It's like, that's from Japan. How do you know? Because I bought it in Japan. Who are you? Bruce Wayne. Oh yeah, I like your work. But then you cut to Bruce Wayne like in the Batcave, just sitting there like this. He's got that big. He's got like a big forehead like me. He's just like this, and he's got the eyes that literally do this. He has eyes like Vulcan eyes, like they literally like
He plays all three. He plays all three. He plays the public figure. He plays the private. Only Alfred and Selena knows, and Vicky Val. And
he was a waitress, but like I wondered if that was like a code word. So unfortunately, this happens. Like you have high-end clubs where women are waitresses, but really,
she's a waitress in the fact that, like she was, like I'm sure she wasn't crazy into the sex work.
I just got a notification that we're live. Sorry, I was like just on Facebook and it just got like a notification. Poindexter Lounge is live. I'm like, oh, are they? Oh, we are. So, but yeah, that's interesting. I wouldn't be against that interpretation. Like, I know people might not like that, but like not in a negative way. But like, yeah, this is what she has to do to earn money because it's implied in the Batman Year One comic, which is not necessarily canon, that she is a prostitute, like a high-end prostitute or an escort.
Right.
I don't know, maybe, but it was the club because the other girl was definitely a sex slave. Her friend who was killed. So I was wondering, like,
who I think basically they were. I think they were girlfriends, honestly.
Oh, ooh, Kane, you dirty bugger. Yeah, Keaton's Bruce Wayne's a little more unhinged. He's also the most mysterious because, like, Christian Bale's Batman, they explain he was trained. That's why Christian Bale. One thing I like about Christian Bale's Batman, they showed him evolve into Batman. So when the movie starts, like, or when he becomes Batman, you have no doubt, like, this dude can't beat up 20 guys. You're like, yes, he can, because I just saw him train for like an hour. But yeah, I think Affleck might be
I like the mysterious factor of Bruce Wayne or Batman. Like, you think this is some skinny guy in this like suit. You think he can't beat up anyone, and then boom, he's like beats up like 5 people in the alleyway. It's like, wow. But I think that's what was taken away from that Batman was the mysterious ways of how he was able to do that because like he was trained by
ideal Bruce Wayne. If you're Austin shut me down because he didn't like him, but have you ever played the Telltale Batman? There's an ounce of vulnerability to him where it comes to Selena Kyle, where you can see there's like a normal guy who wants to have a loving relationship, but he can't.
Right.
Or Batman Mask of the Phantasm, like where he's like kneeling, he falls in love with this beautiful woman. He's like, I don't know if I want to be Batman. I don't know if I want to do this. I'm in love, Mom and Dad. I didn't expect this. And, that's great. That's great stuff. I think people think that like being Batman means unemotional. And that is not how I think Batman is. Like, he can be emotional. Like, he does, like I didn't like All-Star Batman where Batman was like basically torturing Robin. I'm like, nah, come on. That's going a little too far, dude. He does care about that boy. He may not call him his son, but like, anyway, emotionally damaged. Yeah.
Well, I was saying that like Watch says that because Bruce Wayne, when he is the Batman, he doesn't, and especially in his first couple of years as Batman, he doesn't know how to be Bruce Wayne yet because he's been. I don't know if that's
true or not. Like, which comics exactly? Okay, I'll go back to Batman Year One. He totally does the Bruce Wayne thing because in Batman Year One, Gordon suspects okay, so we have a vigilante who has a lot of money with all this stuff. Who could it be? And literally goes to visit Bruce Wayne, and Bruce Wayne's got like a Russian hooker there. Like, her name is something. But yeah, I was skiing last week in the Alps and broke my leg. Doctor says I got to stay off of it. And then Barbara Gordon is like, what a scumbag this Bruce Wayne is. He can't be the Batman. And then it turns out Bruce is not even drinking. He's drinking like tonic water and he throws it out. But you know what? I wasn't crazy about Bale's interpretation, but after Pattinson, I think Bale might have kind of creeped up for me. I don't know. I have to see it again. Well, I'm saying off kilter in the sense that he's crazy, like unhinged. How do I put this? Some people say that him and Joker are two sides of the same coin. I would say they're at opposite ends of the spectrum. Both are men that had something horrible happen to them, and he chose justice and he chose crime. And in that sense, they're the same. But I think some people like to think the Batman is nutty. Like as if he belongs in the asylum. And I'm like, I don't think he's that far gone. I think he does. Like, the one thing they don't really show in the movies is how much he does for other people. If you read the Batman stories, he's outside of Batman. He's always trying to build shelters, soup kitchens, medical. He's doing all this other economic stuff so that Gotham can build itself up. The Batman animated series really pushed that. Like, he's trying to help. They did that in The Dark Knight Rises where he builds like the home for orphans and stuff like that. But like, there is that other aspect of him that cares about people. And I think sometimes people think Batman is so dark he doesn't care about justice for others, like he's just doing it for himself. So those are two interpretations. There's one that Batman is just trying to take out his rage because of what happened to his parents. The other interpretation is that he's trying to make sure what happened to him doesn't happen to someone else, which is what Nolan kind of went for. Because remember, Ra's al Ghul says like it can't be about personal pettiness. It has to be about justice. You're trying to save the city. That was a recurring theme in the Nolan films. I'm trying to save this city because that's what my father tried to do, you know. And other versions, like, no, he wants to beat up the guy who killed his mom and dad, you know. So, but that's the beauty of it. There's so many interpretations. That's why I'm okay with Ben Affleck's Batman killing in BVS, because it's like a Batman who's been doing it for 20 years and he's lost it. He's realized I've been doing this for 20 years and nothing has changed.
Well,
now I got to deal with a Superman.
Well, I think it's not just about the 20 years.
Yeah, that's what they're going for, Abraham. I'm not saying that the performance is bad. I'm just saying I don't know if I'm not connecting with that version now.
I don't think it's because nothing has changed in the 20 years. It's because what has happened in the 20 years has broken him to the point where he's like, F humanity, I don't care anymore. Because, you know, Joker killed Robin, which was his polar in and then
all the people who died, all of his workers, office workers who died, that's his family. Like, remember, he gets pissed off when it says you let your family die. He just looks at the screen, like we don't know who Jack was at the beginning of BVS, but like at some point that person meant something to him. Maybe that was a father figure, maybe one of many father figures they looked up to. And that little girl's who he hugs worked for Wayne Enterprises, dead. How many people died? Like, he failed them also, and now he's just like, you know. Real quick, there's a difference between goth. So, Aaron, I actually went through a goth phase in high school. This is true.
Yeah.
I went through a goth phase in high school. I used to wear all black, and I bought a black trench coat, and I got to say, I look good in black. I don't dress like that anymore. It was another lifetime, but I used to do the black fingernail polish and everything. I had the pentagram ring and all that stuff. Yeah. There used to be a club in Philly called Club Shampoo. They used to do this thing on Wednesday nights called the Nocturne. It was the goth night. And the cool thing about goth dancing is you can be a terrible dancer and it looks fine because no one's really dancing to the beat. They're just like, you know, doing weird stuff with their arms.
All right.
But I don't think Bruce Wayne does that. I just love it when someone just injects some like realism, like, you know, it says you can beat up that many people. I guess you know what it is. See, I can't say because Michael Keaton's Batman's not that tall either.
He's not tall at all.
But he looked bigger. I guess maybe it's the way the suit was done.
It's the way the ears.
That was a very intimidating suit, and Keaton's eyes.
Oh yeah.
But like, I guess the Pattinson, they say he's 6'1", but I don't buy it.
I buy it because of the way that he stands near all like the cops and the criminals.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know. It seemed like everyone was the same height to him.
Well, especially when he walks in and like you should.
Yeah, but that's one interpretation. That's the true Bruce Wayne. I could always argue that, you know who the true Bruce Wayne is? When every time he gets Scarecrow's toxin and he reverts back to that little boy in the alley, I'm like, that might be the true Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, honestly, I think yeah. Because especially with the fear toxin on, and if we all seen the fear toxin on Joker, and Joker's fear is being sane again.
Yeah. Do I have the new 52? DC Batman, I Am Gotham. Is that new 52 or is that the other reboot they did?
Which one is it called again?
It's called I Am Gotham, and then I have I Am Suicide, volumes 1 and 2. I think that's the new 52. But in that one, like, he's 25 and he trained for 2 years. I'm like, where the hell can you learn all that fighting from?
It's probably
2 years. Even Special Forces. Yeah, it's Rebirth. That's what it is. They train for much longer. But anyway, I say the problem is with the movie. I think the problem is with me. I see that's where I think, like, I don't know if I agree with that because I do think he genuinely wants to help. He wants to help the Joker.
Did you read the comic where it turns out like it's an Elseworlds comic, or Black Label, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
When it's like, you know, when we find out that, you know, Bruce Wayne is in a silent asylum and like Jack Napier is one of his doctors that gives him laughing gas, and the Scarecrow is like someone who talks about his fears, and so it's just like it's Bruce Wayne's just like this, like after his parents murder, he basically
that was true. Sorry, real quick, that is true because at the end he realized he has to help people. Yeah. That's my Batman. Like if I ever sit down and kind of give you a treatment of my Batman story, that's kind of what it is. I'm sorry, I like if you watch like. It just depends which interpretation. Like if you're watch like some of these animated films they've done, Batman is kind of a dick. But then you watch the animated series and he does help children. He does pick them up and tries to comfort them when they're scared. And they look at him like, I'm here to help you, kid. You know, just his boots made him look taller. Yeah. Give him lifts, give him high heels. Then one of the Batman movies, I think it was the Val Kilmer one where he actually literally had a boot with like a heel. And I'm like, oh, I guess that's yeah, I think that's what it is. He's really
Well, Robert is, I think he's...
in our language, Ibrahim would say he's a gongadi, like skinny.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so that's what it is. That's what I have there. But I'm reading this really good series. It just came out. There's only 3 issues out. It's called The Night. And it's kind of like their interpretation of Batman Begins. So the first, parents get killed. He's in college. He's studying criminology. The second one, he's in France. And he meets this much older woman. Not much older. She's probably like a MILF, like 40 years old. But she's a professional thief. And she's like, you're young. I'll teach you. And he's so into her. Basically, she's like an archetype for Catwoman. I'll teach you how to be a burglar. I'll teach you how to catch criminals. I'll teach you how to be silent, And then part 3, he meets Henri Descartes, who's a detective, and he learns, you know what I mean? Like, he's still kind of like a kid learning this stuff. I'm like, I like that. Like, he's discovering how to become a good detective, how to be quiet, how to learn to fight, and just some really cool interpretations of that. I'm like, and he starts off young, like, while he's a teenager. Yeah, I know. I was just saying. It is pretty long, though. So, I want to be, if you want to be like an Army Ranger, you got to go through the 6 weeks basic training, ace that. Then if you do Ranger school and you can actually graduate, that's 18 weeks. So we're at 24 weeks. So that's half a year. And then after Ranger school, the top 1% of Ranger school gets recruited for Delta. And then they're giving additional training. And that's just the Army. So it's about half a year. And then you have to be really good. Navy SEALs, I think it's completely different. Marines, it's different. Like, from my understand. But I didn't say it. I know it's not 2 years. But my point is, it takes a long time to learn all that stuff. And whereas Batman, he's not learning how to kill. He's learning every form of martial arts in 2 years. And you're learning how to become a chemist and a physicist. Because remember, he is all those things. He is a brilliant scientist, too. They kind of dropped that since 1939. But the guy is a chemist. He doesn't need Alfred to solve the riddles for him. Yeah, is that what it's called? The Night? Yeah, I'm liking that. Especially the whole subplot with him and that woman. I'm like, it's an Elseworld, but I kind of like the way they're doing it. Like, the first issue was okay, and his psychiatrist is Dr. Strange. And I was like, why would Batman go see a psychiatrist? Wouldn't be worried about, giving away. And it turns out Bruce Wayne is actually using these sessions as a way to find out that Strange is crooked. But
Hugo Strange, yeah.
Yeah, Hugo Strange, yeah. Was he called Doctor Strange, and then they changed it to Professor Strange because of the other Doctor Strange? Or was he always Professor Strange?
He was always Professor Strange.
Okay.
Because he was always Professor Strange. He was, I think, he's always been referred as Hugo Strange or just Strange.
Okay. While I have you guys here, let's talk real quick about Bruce Willis. And you guys, if you're not into this, you will be into this. Because it's a pretty crazy rumor, and unfortunately, I think it's true. So let's get to it. So, I don't know if you're aware about this, but for the last 2 or 3 years, Bruce Willis has been doing a lot of these video-on-demand movies. He does about 10 or 11 a year. These are those direct-to-rental Redbox movies, and he basically does this. He films about a week for each movie, and the rest of the movie they use stand-ins and body doubles, and then he comes in for the close-ups, right?
Oh.
It's not actually him for most of the movie. It's doubles, stand-ins, and yada. So Red Letter Media, who I'm a big fan of, did a whole thing making fun of him. Like, what the hell is this guy doing? And then people went after him like, dude, the rumors are he's got early on-stage set dementia. Now, that's a pretty big rumor. Like, okay, what? Because... Okay, so here's what happened. If you watch his movies that he's doing, he has an earpiece in his ear, and you can tell that someone's reading him the line. So he'll say, I don't know, I'll repeat Shakespeare. Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. I come to bury, and you can tell he's hearing the lines and he's repeating them. apparently people who have worked on these movies with him, up to and including a director who did 3 of them. So one director did 3 of his video on demand movies, said, yeah, we use body doubles and stand-ins. Bruce does have early onset dementia. Now, again, this has not been confirmed by him or his family, but there are enough people who have come forward who have worked with him on set, who have worked with him on these films, and have said, yeah, he has someone help him to get to like set and everything, someone kind of directing him where to walk, directing him where to, no cue cards. And very few people know about this. And that he is slowly, unfortunately, losing his memory. And he's basically trying to crank out as many of these movies as he can to kind of build a nice little nest egg for his family. When I heard that, I was like, oh, God, that's awful. Because he is 67, all right? Patrick Stewart is still playing, Professor X at 80. I have an interview. William Shatner just went to space. Michael Keaton is back as Batman. And you're like, that's a relatively young age. And for such a phenomenal actor. And then I saw a clip of a movie he did with Luke Wilson. And Luke Wilson's talking to him, and you can just tell he's not there. He's like, yeah. You guys talking? Yeah. And at one point, he even says the yeah while the guy's saying his line. They kept it in because they couldn't reshoot it. And again, this sounds like a sleazy tabloid rumor. But when the director who directed 3 of his films says, yeah, he's got early onset dementia. There was an incident a couple of weeks ago at a Rite Aid or something where someone yelled at him for not wearing his mask. And he literally did not know what was going on. And I don't know if you guys heard about this. So, again, it's not official, but if you look it up and you watch some of these movies, apparently it's going back a couple years. I was reading another one that for the movie Glass, same thing, that they used a body double and a stand-in. They used a hooded all the time, so you couldn't see that it wasn't Bruce Willis. And then they filmed Bruce into the movie. That apparently he's been having issues with his memory for about 5 or 6 years. So what he's doing now is that he's doing all these direct-to-video movies. He gets like $1 million per movie. He does like 11 of them. He gets like 11 million. He'll do another 11 next year or this coming year. But apparently it's not official. I tried to look up, has he done any interviews in the last 5 or 6 years? I saw one from Colbert maybe 4, 5, 6 years ago, but like, it is kind of strange. I'm like, yeah. Because again, it sounds like a silly rumor when people who have been on set with him are all saying the same thing. Like, yo, don't be making fun of it. Because there are a lot of YouTubers like, what happened to Bruce Willis's career? Like they do that for Steven Seagal or Wesley Snipes or even like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like, oh, they're doing these really crappy direct-to-video movies. Ha, ha, ha. They're like, yo, listen, there's some stuff going on that you don't know about. And so I hope it's not true. I mean, but it seems like even though we have no facts about it, that everything points to it. Like I can't imagine all these people who are coming forward who've worked on movies on different sets are all saying the same thing. And it's been stuck in my head. So here's the thing with memory loss. It's not like, oh, you forget your memory and you can't like do other. You literally will slowly deteriorate and you won't be able to go to the bathroom, take a shower. Like it gets pretty bad. And it's a shame. But like as far as we've come in science, like we can't figure this stuff out. And that's kind of worrying, but it is kind of sad. Yeah, you don't get better from this. Like, but it's a shame. And again, I said he's relatively young. He's only 67. I mean, I know that sounds ancient to us, but Michael Keaton is 72, 71. William Shatner went to space. I'm watching his interview with Bill Maher. 90, 91. Stole and working it. Patrick Stewart. Still plays Professor X and Captain Picard again at age 81, 82. Like, age is different now. Biden is pushing 80, and he's still president. Trump, by the way, is not that much younger than Biden. Like, a lot of people think Trump's a lot younger. Trump is like 3 or 4 years younger than Biden. Like, they're both elderly men. But they're still in politics. They're still doing their thing, for better or worse. So, yeah, for 67, it's like, damn, he's that is a shame. And yeah, he's to go. And I was thinking of like, Pulp Fiction. He's only like 38, 39 in that movie. And you're like, he's a young man. We won't forget him now. But like, I thought I'd just bring that up and just talk about that. Because, Nicolas Cage is another one that people make fun of. He does a lot of video on demand, but he says, hey, I never phone it in. And it's easy paychecks for them. these movies will cost like $3 million to make, and these actors get 1.5, and they take the money, they take the paycheck, pay their taxes, and build up a little nest egg. But that's I guess how it is. Caden, reel him in. I'm gonna keep venting, venting, whatever it is. You pull those up. So, guys, we have some early reactions for you. We're gonna grab them for that. But before that, let's go real quick into our next topic. We're not gonna harp on it too long, but we have Caden has early reactions to Morbius. So Conor McGregor was arrested in Ireland.
Is that even so surprising?
Nah, not just he was arrested.
I mean, like, we all know who Conor McGregor is.
Yeah.
And we've seen who he is.
I like how he says the F word, F-O-O-K.
What does he say?
He says the F word. You ever heard him say the F word? He sounds like it's saying F-O-O-K, like fook.
Oh.
Get the out of here. Fook out of here. Yeah. But on another note, all I got left, Miley Cyrus's plane got struck by lightning and had to do an emergency landing. Isn't that crazy?
It's just, wow.
To my fans and everyone worried after hearing about my flight to, holy crap, how do you say that? Asuncion airplane was caught in a major unexpected storm and struck by lightning. My crew, band, friends are all traveling with me are safe after emergency landing. Yeah, that's pretty crazy because I think a lot of people don't realize how many artists, because singers especially, travel a lot from town to town, city to city. How many people have died? How many singers have died in plane crashes? You go,
I mean, we all know the most famous one is Aaliyah.
Aaliyah died. Sweet Home Alabama. Leonard Skinner died.
Oh, yeah,
John Denver died. He wasn't he wasn't a singer, but Roberto Clemente, famous baseball player, died.
Yeah.
In a plane crash. And because these people are on the plane all the time, so like to survive something like that is lucky. Look, I like her. She's spunky. Have you heard that song she did last year? Prisoner can't get you out of my mind. I like her.
I liked her cover of Heart of Glass.
Oh, that was good. And my favorite Miley song. I got my sights set on you, and I'm ready to aim. Do you remember that song? It's from like 2008.
Oh yeah.
That one, and then Party in the USA is just a party classic. But that's kind of frightening. Like especially after having Bruce Willis. Like sometimes you forget. Like, oh crap, they could have died, and it's just good to see that her crazy ass is going to be there to entertain us all. Wait, really? Is that true?
Yeah, because her family is yes, she has unreleased music, so they just released a new album for her.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Dude, she was she I can't tell you about how. So you guys I remember her meteoric rise from like 98 to 2001 was huge. Just how big she became. Her song "Try Again" was just, I don't know if you ever heard it with Timbaland. Timbaland was her hype man, and she was just on fire, and she just entered Hollywood. She only done 2 movies, and then she died.
Yeah.
She died, and Lisa Left Eye Lopez died within like a week of each other. I remember because it was literally like 3 or 4 weeks before 9/11.
Well, that whole Left Eye situation, so sad.
It's just so crazy how all these things. So I remember Lisa Left Eye Lopez died. Then my parents shipped me off to military academy because they hate me. And then a week later, I escaped. I literally snuck out of the military academy at 1 a.m.
Wow.
No idea where I was. I just kept going. I walked for miles until I finally found a 7-Eleven. And I remember, I don't have any change. But then I remember the commercial, 1-800-CAL-ATT to make your collect calls. I'm like, yes. Called my dad. I'm like, you got to pick me up. My mom's like, send him back. We'll sneak him back in. My dad's like, no, he ran away.
Yeah.
The very next day, I found out, Leah died while you were gone. I'm like, what? Because that movie, Romeo Must Die, had just come out with her and Jet Li. And that's a great movie, by the way. I don't know if you guys ever seen
so
that.
So you didn't even find out that on the day she passed away, you found out later?
Yeah, I found because when we were at the military academy, we weren't allowed to have it. We were kind of boxed off. They were just training us, and I was like, "What the hell did I get myself into?" And that was the first time I realized I shouldn't listen to my parents. My parents wanted me to go to that school, and I'm being a good, diligent Asian son. I'm like, "All right, cool." I took the test, passed it, aced it. I'm like, they shaved my head. I'm like, "What am I doing here? Why am I here?"
Right.
You know, like the first like it just hit me, and I'm like, why did I not protest this? Why didn't I fight my parents on this? You know, and yeah, so I was there from Friday to Friday, and that Friday night at 1 a.m., I snuck out of the academy. Next morning, I found out Leah died. I'm like,
Wow.
oh, damn. I was like, shoot.
That's
It's crazy. Anyway, do you have those early reactions to Morbius?
Yeah. Okay. So let me pull them up on my phone.
Oh, damn it. You were supposed to do that's what we were supposed to do while I was going through all this. So I was like,
I have them up. I do. So one of them says, well, Morbius is about as bad as you were expecting. A 2005 plot collides with visually confusing CGI.
Can you put it in the private chat? Is that possible? So I can pull it up on the screen, or do you have a like?
Yeah, you know what? Let me do that too.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. So we could read them together.
Yeah.
In the meanwhile, folks, enjoy this photo of Britney Spears. Where is it? Where is it? Where is my Britney Spears photo?
And I didn't do it.
Posted that. There you go. Look at her.
Um,
Look at Britney Spears. Enjoy these photos of Britney Spears while we pull up these messages. But yeah, so rumors are Britney might be pregnant because she posted a video on Instagram of when she was pregnant, and that's her baby pushing out. And a lot of people are like, whoa, wait a second. Wait. Why are you posting this, Britney? And a lot of fans are like, oh, shoot, is she with child again, you know? And so,
if she is, it's good for her.
yeah, good for her. Good for her. Good for her. Her and her boyfriend deserve it. So here we go. All right. We're going to go through these Morbius early reactions.
Yeah, so this is the first one I was reading.
Okay.
Well, Morbius is about as bad as you were expecting. A 2005 plot collides with visually confusing CGI to create a bit of a snooze fest. But don't worry, they've saved worse for last, featuring some of the worst post-credit scenes.
Oh my God. I just screwed that up. Hold on. I was trying to get rid of the messages tab.
Featuring some of the worst post-credit scenes ever you've seen. Sony is off their rocker.
Oh, wow. Is there any more? Can I keep going down?
Okay. I sent more in the chat.
Okay. All right. So what I'll do is I'll do this one. I'll open each one.
Oh, and then he's just gone. I have taken over JIVIN with Jack, and this is my show forever now. I am forever in control.
Yeah, this is what happens when I'm opening multiple tabs. I exit out of that when I'm on. Okay, so let me share the other one. Okay, yeah, let's read some of these. None of them have. Cade's made sure none of them have spoilers. So
no.
Here we go. We have Nicola Austin. Can you guys see that?
And then she says, well, Morbius is unfortunately not great. Some really shouty visual effects and 2000s formulaic plot. And definitely not as fun as Venom. Really confuses the future of Sony Spider-Verse following the post-credit scenes and the editing. Matt Smith is clearly having a blast, though. And then
yeah, I'm gonna pull up
Moon Knight. Run of Geekness.
Moon Knight. I'll pull it up. I'm wondering if I could share. I don't know if I share the whole screen. I don't want you guys to see my dirty tabs.
Dirty.
Yeah.
And then says, in Morbius, Matt Smith glorious hams up the place, and Oliver Wood delivers some visual flair to the action sequence. Aside from that, the bad plotting, the messy CGI, and confusing editing and worse sound mix result in an absolute incoherence mess. But the post-credit scene manages to outdo it all. And if you scroll down more, someone says, "What do you mean outdo it all?" Down there, he says, "Even worse, so much worse." So
the bad stuff for outdo isn't right. The bad. He's like, even worse, so much worse. Wow.
So he's saying that like basically the whole movie's bad, even the post-credit scene is bad.
That's kind of disappointing. I mean, I didn't think it was gonna be an Oscar winner, but I thought at least it'll be.
And then Cameron Howe. I didn't send.
Oh, is that the third one? I think that's the third one. I didn't open.
That one was part of. That was actually the comments. That was.
The comments. Okay, let me go back there.
I'm gonna send the Cameron House now.
Oh yeah, how was Leto? I think that's some spoilers there. Let me avoid that. Yeah, send me the other one because I don't want to. I don't want to spoil anything. Share screen. All right. Let me just increase the font for y'all. Morbius is just as disjointed and boring as you expected it to be. Clearly butchered in an edit by a studio who had no clue what they wanted to do with it. Not that there is a good film trapped in there. Mid-credits are a joke, but stick around if you like rolling your eyes. Wow.
Yeah, so like it's funny how like we were talking about this and some people are just like you can't criticize it just yet because no one has said early reactions and if every single early reaction, there has not been an early reaction that has said anything positive that I read so far of this movie, other than the fact that Matt Smith has a good performance in this movie. And honestly, I expect it from Matt Smith. He always gives good performances. He's a great actor. He knows what he does.
Yeah.
But the other thing about Matt Smith is that
what's his name in here?
Well, the thing about Matt Smith is that he said that he himself was confused on who he was playing. He didn't know what he was doing in the movie. He was
that's not a good sign.
No.
Well, let's see. I feel bad for Jared Leto. Like, this guy wants to like have his moment in this comic book because he is a talented actor. His Joker didn't connect, and it looks like his Morbius, which looked like he was perfect to play,
didn't connect either.
Didn't connect either. That's a shame. But you know what? Maybe I'll see it. Just to see it. And if it's bad, it's bad. But okay. So I have one last thing that I wanted to talk about. So Tuesday's show kind of got derailed. But I did put the effort into it, and I want to talk about Star Wars for a second. So it will be quick. It's not going to be a long topic. So if you guys do stick around, I greatly appreciate it. I do want to talk about Star Wars and some of the fears I have about the Kenobi series, and then we'll call it a night or a morning, depending where you are. All right, guys. Okay, so the Boba Fett show, the Book of Boba Fett, aired while we were transitioning from Pop Culture Corner, right? So you and Austin were doing your shows like on Big Little City Studios, and you guys were working here, but I was completely off the grid, at least on terms of this. I don't think I talked about the Boba Fett show. I was hugely disappointed by the Boba Fett show. And the Boba Fett show didn't remind me of The Mandalorian. It reminded me of Hawkeye. It reminded me of WandaVision, where like you have a bunch of filler episodes and boom, here's the ending. Now we're going to end the story. I was severely disappointed. And Morbius is literally a false advertisement movie. Thank you, Anthony. I just want to say this. I hope this is good. I really pray it's good. I mean, the trailer blew me away, but I am a little bit worried. I don't know, Caden. You might have liked Boba Fett for all I know, Book of Boba Fett. But it seems like they're building up an amazing story. They seem like there was going to be some political intrigue, like who is this syndicate and these evil people. And it just ends with like a fight at the end. And I hope that Kenobi, in my opinion, can't be good or decent. It has to blow me away because this is too legendary a character to give a mediocre, crappy 6-episode story to keep us subscribed for 6 weeks. They need to really pull it. Honestly, it has to be better than Mandalorian. I enjoy Mandalorian, but Mandalorian is a new character. You can take him anywhere you want. This character is locked in. We know what happens to him. We know where it goes. It can't be just, okay, first 3 episodes, set up the story. Episode 4 is filler. Episode 5, let's get that big fight up, guys. Here, bring in Darth Vader, but for some reason he's not going to have his mask, so it's Hayden Christensen. I really hope they don't screw it up because I thought that trailer hit me. The Duel of Fates hit me, but they got to do it.
Based off of the trailers?
Treat it, huh?
Based off of the trailers and what we've been hearing for Obi-Wan, it sounds like it's nonstop.
I hope
it's just
so.
Reintroduction.
Look, I'm watching Star Trek Picard, and like we're 3 episodes in, the story still hasn't started. It's just like, we want you to stay subscribed till next week. And it's not bad, but it's like, can the story start? We're 3 episodes in. We're 3 episodes in. Can the story start, please, for God's sakes? And like Hawkeye, the story starts in like the second to last episode. You're like, oh, so that's what's happening, and then it ends. I hope they don't blow it. Because I know a lot of Star Wars fans that even if it's just Ewan McGregor taking a dump, squatting, behind a dune, and people are going to be like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. I cried so hard. Listen, I'm older than all of you. There was a period in my life when there were just 3 Star Wars movies. No cartoons, no prequels, just 3 movies. And I would say that the more they've added, it's kind of been a mixed bag. But as cringeworthy as the prequels could be, they did this character justice. When I think of Obi-Wan Kenobi, I do not think of Alec Guinness. I think of Ian McGregor. So I hope to baby Jesus that they don't do what they did with Boba Fett. And I hope to God this is not a Hawkeye situation where they're really going to introduce another character or something. You know, like, here's Obi-Wan, but really the story's about him or this other kid or something, you know.
Well, what it sounds like Kenobi is, it's basically like, so we all know based off of the Fallen Jedi Fallen Order with and as well as with, you know, Kenobi and Rebels and like all that stuff, is that there's still some Jedi out there.
Yeah.
And with Rebels especially, we find out that, you know, that there's these group of foundlings and ex-Jedi people who were turned into Sith, but they're called Inquisitors, and they're Jedi hunters, and they hunt the Jedi that ran flee from Order 66. So what I think it's going to be, it's like, okay, with Inquisitors in this, and we know that Kenobi's a Jedi, he's kind of disconnected from the Force right now. Is that what brings the Inquisitors' attention to Tatooine?
Maybe they detect Luke Skywalker, because Luke is really strong with the Force. Maybe they detect Luke Skywalker, and Kenobi's got to make it seem like it's actually him.
Maybe. Like that'll be mystery, but like that, I don't think it'll be mystery, and I think it'll be like really straightforward. I think the series will be very straightforward on what they're doing, because also there's Deborah Chow, who Deborah she did hold on.
By the way, Cal Kestis, is that?
That's Cameron Monaghan.
Oh, okay, that's right. Yeah, I played that game. What the hell am I looking this up for? Okay, yeah, I played that game. I guess about a watcher and Mary Wilcox, but I just hope they give it.
Do you remember the
he's going to be in this
episode 3 of Mandalorian, the first season, episode 3, The Sin. It was the one where like all the Mandalorians like that lived under.
Oh yeah. This is the way. This is the way. Yeah, I remember.
And then like they all like attacked like the like people that were coming out for Din. So that's the episode she directed. She also directed The Reckoning. Hold on. Which was the episode with the introduction of Moff Gideon.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was a good episode. No, Mandalorian's great. You won't hear me complain about Mandalorian.
The person who directed all 6 episodes directed those 2 episodes, and those 2 episodes honestly were like some of the best episodes in that first season.
Okay, cool. Okay, so I know I'm like a month and a half behind this. What the hell was up with the Mandalorian story being in Boba Fett? Here's what I think happened. They came up with a story, and they realized they only have like 3 episodes worth of stuff. They're like, oh, shoot, what do we do?
Well, first
Luke Skywalker back. Let's do that again. Let's do. Like, I didn't mind those episodes. I was happy to see Luke trading Grogu, but I was like, is that supposed to be this show? Like, it seems like you don't have enough faith in your own character to give him the spotlight. Like, you literally, there's one episode where they're like, oh, we contacted Dijon, mustard Dijon, spicy Dijon mustard, and he's going to bring Baby Yoda. And Boba Fett's like, and I'm like, that's it? That's his whole scene? That's just the one thing? And then those are good episodes, but did you ever hear what Overlord DVD said? Because like I was like, maybe he's got a point. He said like apparently like Boba Fett was so bad they literally took episodes for the Mandalorian and squeezed them in there, and I was like, that's what it kind of looks like. It looks like they took 2 episodes of the Mandalorian and are like, all right, just squeeze them in here because this show's not going anywhere. I don't know. I would say that Robert Rodriguez really did let me down.
I mean, it wasn't really Robert Rodriguez. The funny thing is, people like
it's Kathleen Kennedy, Caden.
Yeah, Kathleen Kennedy is gonna be. You know, there's a battle between Kathleen Kennedy, Robert Rodriguez, and Jon Favreau, and Dave Filoni and George Lucas. You didn't know that?
George Lucas retired, raising his daughter. and eating sandwiches at the mall.
No, but he's secretly he's like Palpatine. He's secretly somehow George Lucas returned.
Did you ever hear? But you know what? He actually was right about Rise of Skywalker, about some of the stuff. I remember years ago, he was like, "Oh, this is what's going to happen in Rise of Skywalker," and then it did happen in Rise of Skywalker.
Well, because there's a bunch of 4chan leaks about Rise.
Okay.
That were like that.
I really
to be.
I know that you like some of the newer stuff, but I really wish that right now they just ignore the canon of episodes. What is it? 7, 8, 9, and just take the story where it goes. Like, don't worry about bringing the First Order back. You know, just tell the story. You know, did you bring it? Okay. Just, tell a story. Don't worry about getting tied up into Rey and what the hell is his name? Adam Driver or any of that stuff. Just tell the story. That's how I would do it. But like Star Wars has one canon. You can't do multiverse with Star Wars.
Because they.
Oh yeah, I like him a lot now. I do something like we have some like crazy headline. I'm like, what's he up to now? Like just to watch. It's like watching porn. Like you should be watching it, but you're like,
oh wait, it's
that.
Never mind. It's
no.
I have to.
But,
I don't know where it is.
I occasionally will see with it. Yeah, but as far as I'm concerned, the Skywalker saga ended Return of the Jedi. I do not consider Rey a Skywalker. She's as much a Skywalker as I am a Kennedy. Except I could legally change my name to Kennedy. It doesn't make me a Kennedy.
That's that whole Rise of Skywalker stuff is. I
don't know. I know Enoch likes because it subverted your expectations. Boy.
I don't like I like Force Awakens as an opening to the new saga, as new trilogy, and then episode 8 and 9 happened. And I was like, what happened? Huh?
I can't believe what they did to Luke Skywalker. I know they were trying to subvert expectations, but you're dealing arguably with the most iconic American hero. Like he's up there with like Indiana Jones and Batman, and like it's a legend. Like you don't want to mess with that character too much. Like, so I don't know. Yeah, I'm more excited for the side stuff. Even when is Patty Jenkins still making that Rangers?
Yeah,
the Riders on the Storm or whatever the hell it's called.
Rogue Squadron.
Yes.
Rangers of the New Republic is the show that you're talking about, which would have had Gina
Cara Dune.
And like,
yeah, could you imagine if like Kathleen Kennedy retires and whoever replaces her is like, we're bringing back Cara Dune, and like she just opens it with like a right wing monologue. I believe every citizen in Tatooine should be armed with guns. It's your right to have a weapon. Which is kind of true. Like, if you were in Tatooine, you'd probably want to be armed. If you're, like, living near Mos Eisley.
Tatooine is, like, the weirdest place to live on. Like, you want to live there?
Yeah.
Like,
safer than Chicago, though, but still.
You
know what? I hated Rise of Skywalker less than I hated, just because at least Luke acted like Luke. But in that movie, Rise of Skywalker, I don't know. So here's the thing. There was no planning about where they were taking the story.
So
except that, like, they had no plan on what to do with Snoke. They had no plan. They were just like, we'll make it up as we go along. Like sometimes that works.
Daisy Ridley revealed in 2018 that J.J. Abrams indeed did write a whole trilogy.
They should have just gone with that. Use different directors. Use Colin Trevorrow. But this is what happens when you have too many cooks in the kitchen. Just Star Wars is a big budget. The original trilogy is a big budget. But there's something independent about the way those movies were done. Like Fox Studios was not telling 20th Century Fox was not telling George Lucas how to make those movies.
Here, I'll send you the article.
Yeah, and if they did, that's why he financed Empire and Jedi by himself. He financed them by himself. He borrowed money against the bank to do that. Like George Lucas, okay, fine. The prequel movies were not that great, but at least there was a continuity there, about it all. Says Daisy Ridley. Daisy, how does the garden grow? Okay. According to Daisy Ridley, director J.J. Abrams had written early versions of Star Wars Episode 8 and 9, but director Ryan, see, that's so stupid. Here's what I think I know. JJ wrote episode 7 as well as drafts for 8 and 9. Then Ryan. See, I hate the way he spells his name. It's Ryan, you jerk. Ryan wrote T entirely. I believe there's some sort of general consensus on the main lines of the trilogy, but apart from that, every director writes and realizes his film. Ryan Johnson, JJ is meant to discuss all this, although episode 8 is still very much his own work. I believe Ryan didn't keep anything for the first episode of episode 8. So I've criticized where Johnson took the trilogy in his movies, so it'll be interesting. See, like, okay, so let's say you hate Zack Snyder's version of Batman. That's okay, because then Matt Reeves can make his Batman. But with Star Wars, you can't do that. There is no multiverse in Star Wars. There is no redo of, like, once you do these things, it is canon. Jar Jar Binks is canon, unfortunately. When the opportunity presented itself to finish the story that we had begun with these new characters until the last chapter of the story, Abrams explained after taking on the role, it felt like there was a chance to do it in a way where we go beyond and do better than we did in episode 7. Well, in hindsight, I think they should have just left it alone. They should never have touched it,
Well, they had to, because, they had to get money back from the buyout of...
Oh, yeah, I'm just saying they should never bought it in the first place. There's a plan, but the backlash to The Last Jedi created no reaction.
Warner Brothers would have bought Star Wars if Disney didn't, and I don't even know what Warner Brothers would have done with...
Christopher Nolan directing Star Wars?
Oh, please, no. No.
No, I got to beat Zack Snyder's Star Wars.
I would rather have Zack Snyder's Star Wars, because he actually did have the Rebel Moon stuff was going to be his Star Wars movie.
Okay.
So at least he will have...
I hope it's rated R. I hope it's like an R-rated Star Wars. Like there's blood and guts.
R-rated... The thing about Star Wars doesn't need to be R-rated. People say, oh, you need to have R-rated Star Wars. I don't think you ever need an R-rated Star Wars.
No, I don't want an R-rated Star Wars. But if he's doing his thing, baby...
Yeah.
Make it. I want to see glistening bodies and abs. Just go full Zack Snyder. Zack Snyder Star Wars. Everything is slow motion. Even the opening credit, it's like it's like, so it takes like 20 minutes.
20 minutes later, we're still like just now introducing to our new character.
Yeah,
blood axe.
6-hour Star Wars movie. Oh, yeah, all right, I'm gonna go have some dinner. We actually got everything done.
Yeah.
Look at all that. We got Miley, we got Connor, we got Bruce Willis, we got Moon Knight, Wonder Woman, Black Adam, Halo. We talked a little bit about Halo. We even talked a little bit about Britney Spears. I got to say what I want to say about that. We got Kanye last time, and we talked about Kenobi. This is actually more of a typical Jive with Jack episode because, we got to talk all that. I can't wait for Rebel Moon because I know it's not being written by Zach, and I love Zach, but I don't think Zach should write it.
It's written by 300, so it's going to be basically 300, but Star Wars, but Zack Snyder. So
they don't sometimes. Who's a better great character? I loved Jyn Erso. I don't know what that actress's name is, but whoever played Jyn Erso in Rogue One, I thought was phenomenal.
They messed up Finn's storyline in episode 8 and 9. Like you set up Finn to be like a Jedi type character.
Yeah.
And like episode 7, and then completely.
Well, we all know why, because of China. They're like,
it's
don't
not because of China. It's because Rian Johnson had no clue what to do with Jedi at all. He doesn't know how to handle Jedi, and so the only reason why, and he doesn't know how to handle IP characters.
It's not enough to be a fan of this stuff to write this stuff. It's interesting that some of the best Batman movies are made by people who didn't really read comics. Tim Burton did not read Batman comics. Chris Nolan didn't read Batman comics, but they took it and they made something out of it because they have a vision.
Like at least they understood, but they
understood the character.
The concept of those characters. The thing with Rian Johnson, he didn't understand the concept of Jedi at all.
No,
so that's why he didn't.
Monastic aspect. They even dress like monks with the whole robes and stuff.
Yeah,
but it seems like Jon Favreau does, and it's kind of curious, if Favreau will have a bigger hand in the movies.
I think he will, because Filoni is now the creative chief of all Lucasfilm. So I think Jon Favreau will
tell good stories and please tell good 1-episode stories and don't just do 30-minute episodes and a 15-minute episode.
It was just a big letdown in the fact we were expecting this big story because they kind of were like, oh yeah, he's gonna take back Tatooine
That could have been a whole epic, like, cloak and dagger stuff. You know what I mean by cloak and dagger? Like Julius Caesar, like betrayals and oh my god, that person betrayed us, like that type of stuff. No, they didn't do any of that.
Yes, Massacre Try. We did talk about.
Oh yeah, that's at the beginning. Well, rewatch the whole episode. We talked about.
Yeah, JJ. I would say this is that JJ isn't better than Ryan, but at least he started something. So then the next person can take it and go, like, take the baton and go with it. But what Rian Johnson did was start a new race. He started a new marathon. And that's what you shouldn't do with a sequel when you set up so much great stuff in this. It's like,
look, I've heard Enosh talking to death. I've heard Austin talking to death. And I understand what they're saying. I'm not saying, like, oh, they're wrong. I just think that they bastardized a great American icon, fictional icon, for the sake of, like, aha, I bet you didn't see that coming, and I'm like, I guess I did not see that coming.
Like, you say subvert expectations. The way to
that's cool. That's fine. I like Rian Johnson's other movies. I love Looper. I love Knives Out. He is a great director.
Tim Burton is a great director, but Tim Burton should not direct. You don't like Superman. Okay. The thing, when you subvert my expectations, for Star Wars, you don't do what you did in Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Never again. I never want to see I don't want to see a single thing from Last Jedi ever again.
I was so hoping that Grogu picked Luke Skywalker instead of Mando, if only because that would change the canon of Episode 7, where it was like Kylo Ren was his first student. I'm like, not anymore, bitch.
Right.
Like, that was Grogu. But I like how Grogu is not even related to Yoda. At least they haven't gone that direction. He just happens to be a species of whatever the hell Yoda is. Like, and that's cool. That's how you build characters. You don't need to make everyone related to everyone else.
Yeah, I do like that they don't keep him related. Like, they're just the same species. Like,
yes. Oh, also, if you ever want to help me and Caden and Austin out, you go to patreon.com/JIVIN with Jack. Help a brother out. Help pay for my drug habits. So I don't do drugs. Don't do drugs. But I think that's all. That's it. I'm gonna go have dinner. This was a good show. I hope Austin is alive. I think Austin told me he couldn't make it today, but I forgot to double check with him. I've been up since 6:30 this morning.
Oh,
yeah. My
like
two surgeries threw my sleep schedule off, so I'm trying to get back into wake up early, start editing. But we will see you all on Tuesday. I think Austin had, if you missed it, his interview with Brian, Master of None. If you're a Star Trek fan or just getting into Star Trek, check out Brian's show, 10 Forward. It's really good. It comes on Mondays. And again, if you missed them, go back and watch them. It's good entertainment. And then tomorrow night we have William with the Sci-Fi Center, and then we have To the Max, hosted by Max.
Should I play the ad then the outro?
Oh, that's a good idea. So, folks, if you want to know what our lineup is, check out our ad. So, I guess I'll say our goodbyes now. Kate, any last words?
Have a good Friday. Have a good weekend. And see you guys next Tuesday.
And remember, Jivin' with Jack. It's not just a name. It's a brand.
It's finally here. New voices, new faces. Welcome to the Pantheon. Get jivin'.